They take away food stamps from from millions of Americans. He takes away health care from Americans. It seems to me very interesting that after the baby is born, he's against maternity leave. After the baby is born, you're against all these government programs that can help poor people.
I don't want bigger government. I don't care about that. I don't want bigger government.
You've made it very clear.
Yeah, so I don't care about that. So your point doesn't matter. You voted for the left.
I'll take my hat off too.
You voted for the left.
I'll take my hat off.
Good. We're both bald, but we have different.
Brian Shapiro, totally not a debater, yet likes to debate all the time, is back on the Tim Pool Show after his disastrous last appearance to debate a young man named Siaka. And it should be pretty good because if you haven't noticed this guy coming up, he's black. And we all know that Brian Shapiro is probably going to get racist at some point. So let's do this.
Help starting a project. If you want to support the work that we are doing to make it possible, we can't do it without you. So please consider joining us at timcast.com. That being said, smash the like button, share the show with everyone you've ever met in your life. We got a couple people joining us to have this heated and hopefully hilarious discussion. I hope we can make it funny. Brian, what's going on? Who are you?
What's up, man? I feel like you need to buy me like a studio apartment right down the street now. That's what I think. Brian Shapiro. I've been called worse. I do a show called Pushing the Limits. And yeah.
Look at Bryce Shap with his gay ass Starbucks.
That's who I am at PTL Radio Show.
Before the show starts, he's like, how much of a raging lib should I be? Should I all the way up to 11 or just be calm and nice?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
wait, there's something less than 11? You mean there's actually a level less than 11 when it comes to him being a raging lib?
Brian's great. He's nice to you in person, but you get him on the internet and he can crank it up.
Turns on the show.
I mean,
Indeed.
In person, I'm not always nice. Did you see any of the videos I did? Ian was hanging out with me. Ian, am I always nice in person?
No.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Who's next?
What's up, guys? Siaka here. Siaka Massaquoi, father. I'm lead with that first. Actor, producer, and as you can see, I got my little ones with me, always in my heart. And yeah,
Who is that director? Who's the director that always directs the black movies? I'm forgetting his name. 5'4" Cowboy. Thank you very much for becoming a new member, brother. Welcome to the Coolverse. Hey, yeah. Yeah. Can you spell your name for me, boy? Yeah, exactly. Spike Lee. Thank you very much. Yes, that's who he reminds me of. But maybe he's a based Spike Lee.
I am not a raging lib, so let's go.
And then Ian.
I'm just raging.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Within, let's go.
I mean,
Yeah, that
sunglasses
Jim
on
Morrison,
it. Yeah.
Jim Morrison look going.
Sunglasses
I
on
have bloodshot
it.
eyes. It's so early in the morning for me.
Ian's tagline says "smarter than everyone in Congress."
Oh,
I mean,
perfect. We're
I
catching on.
mean,
Ian literally said that he was smarter than everyone in Congress.
Yeah. I got to start talking myself up more.
But the funny thing is,
so
like,
go big.
pragmatically,
Yeah.
we're like, that's not true, Ian. They're smart people, but emotionally, I think like, screw everyone in Congress.
Yeah.
All of them.
It gets the point across, whether
Yeah.
it's true or not. It's true.
My cat is.
Hit it, Kachi. Thank you very much for gifting 1 subscription on Rumble. Yeah. And congrats to D Sage, who is now subscribed over there on Rumble. Thank you very much, Hidakachi.
Smarter than everyone.
Than all of you.
Yeah. My dog's pretty smart.
Hey, we also got Ellen on the
On a
buttons.
side,
I didn't
on a
wanna-
side note, I always
No
wanted to
members
debate
of
an
this.
insurrectionist. So nice to meet you, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't. I'm still. And then you're still going to be waiting because I don't have anything.
That is true.
Oh,
I was
it's starting.
never
Here we go.
right. Misdemeanors. I don't know.
Why were you there?
I was there because I wanted to be. I'm an American.
I know, but why? Why were you there?
Because I wanted to see.
Did you think the election was stolen?
Yeah, I did, and I
Yeah.
still do.
Okay, so you're a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist then.
I mean, you think it's not, so why would you not?
Where's the evidence of widespread voter fraud?
Well, so you start off with California when they changed the rules so they can make
Where's
it.
the
That's
I
the
didn't ask you
evidence.
about California.
That's
Uh-oh. Immediately, Brian's his face is getting red.
the
Where's
evidence.
the
Can I
evidence?
start the evidence? Can you let me finish my sentence
Okay,
to continue
so,
this
so
evidence?
Trump lost California. Is that what you're saying?
No, I didn't
Oh,
say
okay.
that.
Where's the evidence of
The evidence.
widespread
The
voting?
evidence was in my house when, for 4 to 5 years in my own house, I was getting ballots for people who were dead and didn't live there.
Okay, that's not
That's-
evidence. That's not evidence of widespread voter fraud.
That's part of the evidence. If you
Wait,
let
hold
somebody
on,
finish
wait,
the
wait.
sentence instead of cutting them off when they
that's not-
finish it, I'm
we-
going, hey.
Semantic point. That is evidence. It's not proof.
Well, so we're looking for evidence.
So,
You
so
have
let me give you guys a quick little
I was like, oh, shut up, Tim.
breakdown of this is important for all the people who are probably mad at me saying, "What do you
Brian. Oh,
mean?" So
yeah, at least Tim knows.
here's a scenario I like to give: store clerk gets shot and killed. The police find 9mm bullet casings. They then hear someone says, oh, his next door neighbor hated him and they were fighting all the time. I heard him screaming. They go to the neighbor's house and they find 9mm bullet casings in front of his house. That's evidence. Then turns out the guy actually just as a dropped him when he was leaving, and he's been out of town for 2 weeks, so he couldn't possibly have done it. Not proof, but is evidence. So when you're getting, 10 mail-in votes to someone's house, someone says, this is evidence. There could be voter fraud because these are not requested. They're lying around. Does it prove widespread voter fraud?
Well, so that's correct. The statement is, where is the evidence that could prove?
Yeah, Brian's asking for evidence. So, yeah, that analogy was trash.
Prove widespread voter fraud that could have changed the outcome of the 2020 election. Hold on. It's been 6 years. The two idiots that keep, not you, that keep talking about this are Dinesh D'Souza, who is an imbecile, and the My Pillow idiot. Okay. No, he's not a smart guy.
No, he's really
I disagree.
smart. I met him,
2000
hung out
Lies
with him.
was a
It was-
documentary.
It's a great
So where is your evidence that could
evidence.
prove
So
that there is widespread voter fraud that Donald Trump won the 2020 election?
So is illegally changing the rules of voting in multiple states?
That's not widespread voter fraud. That's not widespread voter
Wait,
fraud.
how is
You
it not?
cannot like
How is it not?
it was
How is
during-
it? Hold on. Because you say the sentence and you complete it, and I start with 3 words and then you cut off.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me talk.
Go ahead.
So it works out this way. If you have 2 to 3 states that change their constitution from a judicial order, which is illegal, that's part of evidence that pushes that illegal voting to
I would argue that's proof of widespread voter fraud.
Never been proven in a court of law.
No. Hold on.
No,
There's 2 different things to consider. So if you
There's already one marked off for the bingo card. Yeah, was anything proven in a court of law?
or if your position on this is, were people fraudulently making or filling out ballots? That's a different question from, did executives and judiciaries violate the law and constitution to create a mechanism by which people were legally capable to do these things?
Well, why did they do that?
It doesn't matter. They did it.
Why?
That's illegal.
Why did they do it?
It was illegal.
So does that mean
It doesn't
Donald
matter.
Trump
It was
won?
illegal.
That means Donald Trump.
I don't
won.
know,
You
but it
don't
was
know.
a cheating.
Okay.
That's the whole thing. That's the whole point, brother. The thing that you guys always miss is that you go, well, if we find there was cheating, that meant Trump won. That's not what the argument is. The argument is, why do you change the rules illegally?
That's not what Donald Trump said.
I don't care. I'm talking about
I do.
me.
I do.
Well, great.
That's why a lot of idiots were there.
Well, I do. Some people care.
That meant Trump won. That's not what the argument is. The argument is, why do you change the rules illegally?
That's not what Donald Trump said.
I don't care. I'm talking about
I do.
me.
I do.
Well, great.
That's why a lot of idiots were there on January
when
6th.
you get Donald Trump to sit down with
January
you and talk to
6th.
him, then that's the argument you can have with him.
But you
I'm not
supported
Donald
him. You
Trump.
were there because you
I'm not.
support
Yes,
Donald
and
Trump.
I do, and I did again 3 times.
Okay. Well,
But the point of what I'm looking at, what I look at, Donald Trump can say what he wants. I'm my own man. That's the part you guys also miss. You think everyone's just the same person and think, well, Trump said it, so I'm going to say it. No, I look at it from the standpoint of if a judge sits there and bypasses the constitution of 3 states that allows
let's talk about that.
that allows mail-in voting when they shouldn't have, we have a problem. We have to address it. Nobody even wanted to. Why didn't they? They didn't want to because their guy won.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
Then you go,
So
okay,
you're
this
your
thing
own
wasn't even
man.
fair.
Okay, fine. Well, guess what? You're not a judge. Donald Trump had 61 opportunities in court. They all said that there was no merit. Some of those judges were actually, hold on, let me finish.
I'm glad that he's doing the widespread voter fraud because now I get to see all of his arguments before July 29th because he ain't going to change any of these arguments. So I'm already going to be taking notes, ready, learning what to study for.
Finish now.
go ahead.
Let me finish now. Some of those judges were actually Republican appointed judges.
So?
He was 0-61 in the courts. You had a bunch of people that showed up there on January 6th. I would assume you were one of those people
Right.
that believed in the lies that the election was
lie, but
rigged
yeah.
or stolen. You
It
can
was
say
rigged.
that until the
I
cows
just
come
pointed
up.
out.
Hold on a
I just
second.
pointed out what was rigged.
We are 6 years
Not
later.
just point out what was
I find it very interesting that when Donald Trump loses, it was rigged. When he won in 2016, that seemed to be just fine. When he won in 2024,
still
that
cheating.
seemed to be just fine. Now I understand.
I got to fact check.
I understand. Hold on. I understand that Donald Trump said there was still cheating involved in 2016. I know what you're going to say, Tim, but the fact of the matter is that Republicans still say nothing to see here. Donald Trump won. Same thing in 2024.
We have a fact check. Trump and his campaign filed 4 to 6 lawsuits in 2020 over the election.
And how did that work out?
Between 4 and 6.
There were over 60
if the judge-
court
if the
appearances.
judge-
though.
Those were PACs. Those
Right,
were,
correct.
That's
yeah.
different.
So
There
for
was
the
no
Trump-
merit. The judges ruled no merit.
That's actually not correct. But for the Trump and the Trump campaign is between 4 and 6. The issue was not merit. The issue was moot. The issue was, in the instance of many of these suits, they said the amount of ballots that would be overturned would not change the results. Therefore, it's moot. Case dismissed.
Well, the bottom line is,
He's a 34 count felon. Vic versus Bry. How did I not hear this? I don't think I missed any videos. Well, I announced it originally on my members only stream, but then I also brought it up the next day on my regular stream. But yeah, it's not going to be one-on-one. He's going to be doing another 1v10 on the Digital Social Hour, and I got invited, so I accepted, and so I'm doing it. I'm going to be one of the 10. One Democrat versus 10 mega mushroom gobblers. So there you go.
our entire history of this country, Donald Trump's the only president that has not conceded an election.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that you were not one of.
That's also incorrect. Come on.
Who's the other guy?
Oh yeah, and I think she will be moderating. So I'm going to be meeting. It's going to be a 2-for-1 lolcow that I'm going to be meeting.
1876.
Okay, well,
No. I mean, this is civil. This is the end of Reconstruction. The presidency was determined by a panel because there were a similar thing happened where states turned in dueling sets of electors, and then the Democrats and the Republicans sit down like, okay, this is it. Civil.
all
war
right.
is
So
about to
let's
kick
just
back
say
off.
that's 150% correct. Let's say in the past 150 years, Donald Trump is the only president to not concede an election. Now, I understand, and I know this is getting into other territory, but I did a little bit of study on you, and I understand you're not a violent criminal. I understand you weren't one of those people that beat police officers, but this is a really important question because I don't know what your answer is going to be on this. Are you a hostage and a patriot if you beat a cop on January 6th?
It depends on the circumstances.
Okay, so let's go with, I don't know, let's go with Daniel Rodriguez, who assaulted Michael Fanone. Michael Fanone had a stroke because of that.
Next day.
And no, you're talking about Brian Sitnick. I'm talking about Michael Fanone.
This is a question. The next day.
This guy is getting fatigued. You know, it's funny though. I heard him say something like, yeah, I looked into you. You're not a violent criminal. Surprised Brian was like, surprisingly, you're not a violent criminal. You know, considering, you're black and all.
Question mark?
I know. We'll talk
Next
about.
day,
Okay, I didn't know that. I thought that was a statement.
Or no.
Sicknick got hit with the
Yeah, and I'm happy to
Fire
get into that with you
extinguisher,
as well.
right? Different guy?
Okay,
All
because
of it.
I've debated
All
Brian
of it.
Sitnick.
All of
But Daniel Rodriguez got 12 years in prison because of him attacking Officer Fanone. He had a stroke. Is that man a hostage and a patriot?
Well, again, it depends on the situation.
I just gave you the
He's a hostage
situation.
and a
Is he a
What
hostage?
was
and a
happening to him
patriot?
before the
What are you
attack?
talking about? What happened before? He assaulted a cop. What are you talking about?
What happened? Like, for example, did you see the videos, which I have, when they were standing there peacefully? DC Metro comes in, starts firing pepper balls at everyone, and forced them back.
So you're saying Michael Fanone deserved to be physically assaulted?
But
I'm saying this. I'm saying scenarios are different for every situation, and we have to talk about it clearly. When they are attacking people, and someone's like, "What am I doing?" and they fight back.
So hold on, let me get this right.
Wait, real quick. Yeah. We got to go back to the chain of events for January 6th before we even get to that point. The barricades are set up around the Capitol building, and at some point, protesters tear them down.
They move them outside. I've seen the video.
Well,
the guy who
they knock the barricades over, push them aside, and enter into a closed property.
By the way, on that, the individual in the video I've seen with my lawyer when I was in DC for my case, there's a man removing those barricades. They have yet to even identify.
Of course. Okay, but the point I'm making is, all right, I got all that.
Going on.
The point I'm making is, you're bringing up that the police. This is true. The people are all standing on the Capitol. Nobody's smashing anything. Nobody's fighting. And the police start shooting pepper balls and throwing flashbangs.
Right.
However, they've already bypassed the barricades into a closed space and are now swarming around the Capitol. So it's not surprising.
No, that's not. But here, Tim, that's not true. The group that went there was about 25 people who removed the barricades. By the time
I understand, but that's not the point.
No, the point is, if you don't know you're breaking the law and then people are attacking you, you're like, what's going on?
That's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is a lot of people say the police started attacking the.
Oh, come on, Tim. Matt Flynn for the $4.99. I just caught that. Bryce Shapp still called him a criminal, just not a violent criminal. Well, yeah, of course. He's a snake. Thank you very much, Matt Flynn. Okay, Taquan, I see you're not a felon, but being black is still a misdemeanor. Yeah, exactly.
Crowd inciting violence, but you have to look at it holistically. I understand, and I make this argument all the time. There are tons of people who did not know there was any crime or anything wrong with walking up to a public building.
Right.
The barricades had been removed. And, Cenk Uygur screamed at me about this because he didn't know the law. He didn't know what happened. I said, you cannot legally charge someone with trespass without having given them a warning of trespass.
Right.
And if barricades have been physically removed from public grounds and you're walking your dog and you walk on the sidewalk, you can't trespass that person. But hold on. My point is, when you have, we're not talking about people that are walking around the grounds. We're talking about the specific area where you have what appears to be about 1,000 or so individuals, and they are protesting and someone removed these.
Yeah, that's what I think too, Josh. Yeah, Brian probably cried that Tim doesn't have his back enough last episode. Yeah. You need to defend me a little bit more.
And they all came in. Mm-hmm. It is true a lot of these people, I'd say most of them, did not expect the police to start firing pepper balls or throwing flashbangs. Now let's talk about what the police are experiencing. Mm-hmm. The police are seeing a crowd of 1,000 people having knocked the barricades down, coming up to the front of the building, and they say, we have to disperse this crowd. Right. They're going to use crowd control in that regard. I don't blame either side. I don't blame the individuals who did not know. I blame the individuals who tore the barricades down. Right. But listen, we look at like Antifa protests or ICE protests.
Yep. I was just going to say that.
Police are going to initiate crowd control against a group.
Right.
Yes.
Right. I understand that, but the crowd control in front of an ICE facility, stopping people from coming and going, and people at this time with the understanding, like myself, that this is okay for you to be walking over here. It doesn't sit in the same mindset when you're sitting there and you're standing there peacefully protesting, as the left was saying, while the fires were behind them for a whole summer.
Who said that?
But
CNN.
But again, you're taking it completely out of context. That video. That's what you just
but hold on.
What he said it was mostly peaceful protests over in Ferguson.
Okay, so
are you kidding me?
First of all,
when the buildings were burning.
So first of all, there was one CNN anchor that used similar verbiage like that.
Well, I think
there were tens of millions of people that were protesting. Of the tens of millions of people that were protesting across the country, yes, most of those people were not violent. I would even go as far as to say January 6th. There were about 50 to 100,000 people that were there that day. 1,500 people.
250,000.
Was it that much?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
More than that. Great. That proves my point even better. Let's just say 250,000. Of those people, 1,500 people were arrested. About 600 of those people violent. And when you see and when you see a guy like Andrew Paul Johnson, for example, who Donald Trump pardoned, he just got life in prison for sexually molesting 2 children. Mm-hmm. Bradley.
Oh, goody. I hope he brings that up. Well, I know he's going to bring it up because I can't wait to throw about what about Tim Waltz pardoning that PDF file that sexually assaulted a 10-year-old and blamed her for it, huh?
Tyler, who did a Hitler salute while he was physically assaulting police officers. So
is it a crime to do a Hitler salute? Has he been convicted of doing a Hitler salute in a court of law? Like, who cares? Why is he comparing a PDF file to doing the Hitler salute?
Narrative that all these people were getting hit with these pellet or whatever balls or whatever.
They died from that. What narrative? There's men.
You're saying the 600 people that assaulted cops, they all were antagonists. So will you say right now?
I said people.
So will you say right now that some of these people that I have listed, like the officer who put Fanone in a stroke, like Tyler, who did a Hitler salute while he was assaulting cops, these are people who Donald Trump pardoned, the man who you voted for 3 times.
Yes.
Will you call these specific people out and say, no, these are not hostages and patriots?
They were violent. They were violent people.
Are they hostages and patriots?
I don't know their full case. Jesus, I can't say that.
Christ.
Well, so
why he wants people to denounce that because Trump said that, and he's so Trump deranged. He's like, can you just please say that orange man bad? Like, that's what he really wants. Because if this guy says, no, they're not hostages and patriots, then Brian's like, then how come you won't denounce Trump, who called them that?
But they're violent individuals Hold on. There's violent individuals that deserve to get the full extent of the law for their violence. I do agree.
They were pardoned. They didn't serve. They served a couple of years.
They deserve to be pardoned.
So wait.
100%.
Well, you're
under the law.
What's morally wrong?
Yeah. Under the law, what is the law for assaulting a cop? And then when they went to court and they got that, they were sentenced to their time.
Mm-hmm. Let me.
You want
bring
more?
Ian. What was that thing where?
Something else.
What was that thing where that president pardoned all those insurrectionists that you always
like? That was Shays' Rebellion. That was.
Tell me about that.
After the Civil War, the farmers that had gone.
Civil War?
I'm sorry, the Revolutionary War, the farmers that had gone off to fight in the war now came back, and they were all their farms were in debt because they hadn't been working for years fighting the war. So the government, the city, was like, well, we're not going to take your soft currency anymore, which is like your barter, your trade. We need hard currency to pay back the French. So farmers give us money, and the farmers like, we don't have silver. So they're like, then we're going to take your farms. And all the farmers then go to the capital. I think this is up north in Massachusetts or something in that area. And they revolt, they surround the Capitol, the courts, massive violence. All these people get arrested. And then
Insurrection.
Yeah, one of the presidents, I think it was John Adams.
I thought it was Jefferson.
Might have been Jefferson.
He pardoned him.
And they just, no, it's actually John Hancock, the governor at the time, decided the
JH.
only way out of this is through it and pardoned everybody. He's like, look, this is past trauma, it's past injury, and there's no way forward if we harm half the country right now. So, we're pardoning everyone and moving forward.
So I want to bring up
ringleader.
Brian's just be like, what does this have to do with January 6th? What does this have to do with Trump? 34 count felon.
the
Two
issue
guys
with
were-
the first thing I'm going to say. You name these specific individuals, and they sound like bad people. But I don't think it's fair to ask someone to condemn an individual they don't know anything about just on your word. If you said, well, you condemn John Smith, I'd be like, look, I don't know who the guy is.
Give me a little context on who John Smith is. And if you tell me John Smith did a Hitler salute and then he assaulted police officers, Tim, I don't have to know him personally to say that is an awful human being and he deserves everything he gets.
Yeah, no,
you won't say that.
But you are still
Every
incorrect.
scenario is different.
I'm
You know
not
why?
going to just trust what you're saying is true and
Right.
insult
Look it up.
another person.
Exactly.
No, I understand that. My point is not on this specific individual. By all means, we can say, don't do these things. They're bad things to do. But I'm just saying in a debate to be like, here's one specific individual, here's another.
I'm not giving you one. I can give you plenty. But
And I'm going to explain why these people needed to be pardoned. The first question that anyone needs to ask is, what is the amount of time an individual typically gets on a first offense for assaulting an officer?
Right.
Is it 3 years in solitary? Solitary is considered torture by many countries.
depends if they have a record. It's a case by
That's what I
case
said, first
basis.
offense.
Right. It depends. Now, I can give you my personal opinion on what I think about assaulting police officers, whether it's Black Lives Matter or January 6th.
What about
I would
ICE?
say, in my personal opinion, if you assault a police officer, which is a horrific
You're not a
crime,
First
patriot.
offense at a protest.
I think-
right or wrong.
Get ready to mark off they're not a patriot or the assaulting officer square in the bingo card.
I think it should be a minimum of 3 to 4 years in jail. If
Well,
you
these guys-
assault a cop,
but this guy
very
did.
serious
So
crime.
this guy did serve that time. And so the issue with the pardons is there are people that probably should not have been pardoned.
Mhm.
But the problem is that I have personally met individuals. I met a woman, her and her husband got 18 months in prison, in federal prison
Mhm.
for misdemeanors
Right.
because around like 3 or 4 o'clock, I can't remember the exact time. This is after this all violence. Nothing, everything's cleared out. People are already leaving.
Mhm.
They were walking through DC.
Yeah.
They come to the Capitol building where there are no barricades.
Mhm.
They're on the other side where there's no violence.
Yeah.
They walked up the stairs where the doors are open and they walked inside and asked people what was going on. And the police said, there's a protest.
I know what you're talking about.
They
I know
then-
this story.
They then left.
Yes.
And then a year later, feds kicked their doors in front of their children and arrested them. And the judge refused to allow them to present evidence that was
Yes.
exculpatory.
So, Tim, that's wrong. And
Indeed.
I
Now,
agree.
hold on.
The
I agree.
majority
There's-
of those
there-
things
there's
were wrong. that
hundreds-
they
I'm not,
treated.
and listen, I've been very consistent on my opinions on this.
Yeah, but
I'll
you-
even take your circumstance. I believe that there's no question that there were people that were overcharged. There's no question that there were certain situations where it was politically motivated. And in those specific situations,
Okay, so you got him to admit that some of it was politically motivated, that they're overcharged. Okay, well, that's who freaking Trump is talking about. Trump didn't know that that the dude was a PDF file. It's not like he knows, and that's not what he pardoned him for. He didn't pardon him for the crime of being a PDF file. That was found out afterward. Okay, unlike Tim Waltz, who knew that the pardoning committee in Minnesota knew that they were pardoning a PDF file so he wouldn't get deported. Like, they knew that. But that's who that's who Trump was talking about when he said these are hostages and patriots, Brian.
completely agree with everybody in this
so
room.
here's the issue.
But I'm talking
When the
about the most
government-
violent criminals.
Yeah, and I
but
agree.
again,
did I not just
listen.
say violence that he deserved to get punished for his violence? Did I not just say that?
Trump called all those people
I don't
hostages
care.
and
Yes,
patriots.
yes,
I
yes.
do.
But now we have to.
But here's the thing. Yeah, you were going to go on the point. Sorry, go ahead.
My point is, when you have a mass
Like, if there's a bunch of people that got overcharged, you don't think they're hostages?
prosecutorial event that is proven malicious, we just wipe it out. You have no choice. That's why I brought up Shay's rebellion. Owen Schroyer was permitted to be there. He in the InfoWars guys had a permit to be outside the Capitol doing a rally. He never entered the building. He was walking around with a bullhorn. When they convicted him and sentenced him to what he went to federal prison, I think, right, for 2 or 3 months. When he went to prison, when they were sentencing him, they explicitly stated that because in the interim after conviction, he went on his show and spoke politically about his views and support for Trump, he deserved extra time in prison. So when something like that happens, and the prosecution has said, we will target you for your politics and we will punish you for supporting Trump, the only thing you can do is say, we are wiping the slate off. Now, with all that being said, these bad guys who hit cops and everything went to prison for 3 years.
I don't think it's enough.
And some got solitary confinement.
Well, change the law. And the biggest problem.
It wouldn't matter if you changed the law because he would have pardoned.
Ooh, that's a good point. Yeah, change the law. Brian brings that up too when it comes to the voting fraud.
No.
The biggest problem that I have with where people like you come with your arguments is that you focus on those and you don't focus on the innocent people who did.
No, I have.
Grandmother. No, you don't.
You're wrong. You're wrong. You don't listen to my show. I know Pam Hempel. I've interviewed her. I've interviewed.
You don't do it with this passion.
You're wrong.
He's talking about Pam Tifa. Yeah, he's talking about Pam Tifa, the woman that is now part of Antifa, who was supposedly a Trump supporter on January 6th. She was there January 6th. She got arrested, blah, blah, blah. That's who he's talking about, okay? But he only praises her because she denounces Trump. That's the only reason why he praises her, because she has gone back and blames Trump for what she did. She's like, I've taken responsibility for my actions. It's all Trump's fault is why I did everything. It's like, that's not taking responsibility, you idiot. But that's why Brian's bringing her up, is because she denounces Trump.
Knows, and you don't focus on the innocent people who did.
No, I have.
Grandmother. No, you don't.
You're wrong.
You're
wrong. You don't listen to my show. I know Pam Hempel. I've interviewed her. I've interviewed.
You don't do it with this passion.
You're wrong.
You don't.
You're wrong.
I've watched enough of you that you don't do.
You're
it
wrong.
With passion.
What people have I interviewed on January 6th?
You don't go out and go, hey, you know what was wrong? The fact they didn't let them use their own evidence off their phone to sit there and prove themselves.
Exculpatory evidence was barred.
They wouldn't let them use evidence, man.
So
that's like the judicial wouldn't do that, and no one. So many people on the other side of the fence sat there and go, I don't care. You're a problem because you're a Trump supporter. You got to understand. That's the problem.
First of all,
Tim, don't cut him off, Tim. Don't cut him off. He's cooking. He's absolutely cooking. He's feeling the rage that one gets when debating Brian Shapiro. He's absolutely right.
You got to understand, Brian's a fascist, and he believes that in judicial proceedings,
definitely not.
The government should be allowed to bar individuals from bringing in exculpatory evidence.
Can I ask you, what did you say about? I'm definitely not a fascist. What did you say about Brian Sitnick? He did die the next day. You don't think it had anything to do with?
No. I said he died the next day.
Right. Did you feel like what happened that day might have played a role?
I don't know. He died of a stroke.
Yeah,
that's what I do know. Which
are you aware of what the coroner said?
The coroner said that January 6th did have something to do with it.
Correct.
But when you talk about strokes and you talk about plaque going into your brain, that doesn't happen in a day.
What about
that happens in a lifetime of
But hold on.
Okay, well,
we can't just say,
here's what I'm going to say.
They said natural causes.
Yeah. Okay, but but here's what here's what he also said. He also the medical examiner noted, and you're correct, that the violence and what he endured that day, including getting assaulted with a chemical substance, played a role in his.
Brian's bringing notes now. He brought his laptop there. He has notes now.
His condition.
Yeah.
Now,
what about eating like? Does that play a role
so there.
I look. Ashley Babbitt got shot, so it's like I don't think we don't play this.
But how many protesters died that day? How many protesters?
There was another. It was Ashley Babbitt. There was a woman, I believe, that had a heart attack and she was trampled that day.
Yeah, one guy fell off.
One guy was pushed.
It was a horrible. It was a horrible day.
But there's nobody on the other side going, "Wow, these people who didn't know what was going on, she shouldn't have been beaten to death. This one woman shouldn't have her brain scrambled and then get kicked out of her apartment because she can't work because she was in a tunnel
and
a woman was cracked." Yes,
terrible.
Why? That's the part we're waiting for, because all you guys want to do is sit there and go, "You beat cops. You beat cops." What about everyone else who had their life through?
Brian's gonna say. By the way, this guy's absolutely cooking. Brian's going to say, what do you mean, you guys? I'm a registered independent.
Because she was in a tunnel
and
a woman was cracked.
Yes, terrible.
Why? That's the part we're waiting for. Because all you guys want to do is sit there and go, "You beat cops. You beat cops." What about everyone else who had their life ruined? What about the fact that I was on a list that I couldn't fly for 3 years and not charged with a crime. That's fascism, and no one ever talks about that.
Here's what I'll
Why
say.
don't we ever talk about that? Why don't we ever care about that?
Here's what I'll say.
They beat the cops, and that's it. They beat the cops.
Here's what I'll say.
My whole career was ruined because I just was standing someplace, and they painted.
Your career is ruined?
No, was.
Really got pardoned, right?
No, until I just.
Well, yeah. Listen, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you can no longer your rap career had to come to an end, sir. And it's tragic, really. And it's so sad. But maybe you shouldn't have been there, huh? Maybe you should have learned not to support Orange Man who wants to see you deported back to Africa, who wants to put you back in chains.
Leaned all hard in.
Okay,
right.
so here's what I'll say to that. Here's my
roll with
number
it.
one concern.
Right.
Okay, beyond somebody's career, I think about the families who have lost loved ones. I think about the officers who have traumatic brain injury. I think about people who have, injury.
Just disregards this guy's experience. Like, he's actually talking to someone who was arrested, who had their career cut to a halt because of that and everything. Brian just disregards it. The empathetic left of you here, empathetic Brian Shapiro, just disregards, doesn't say, yeah, you know what, that does suck, man. That does suck, my brother. Slap me some skin. Like, there's none of that. He just disregards, and instead he's going to focus now on people who suffered something more serious.
That they have to suffer through for the rest of their lives.
A lot of them were J6ers. A lot of them were J6ers that were just standing there, bro.
Again,
how come you don't think about them? And this has proved my point, because as you're bringing out who you think about,
you didn't
don't
hear
even
what I
go
just
to
said. The problem is you don't listen.
Think about the 106 police officers that you're going to go down the list who had injuries, but you didn't open a word about the guy who was pushed off the stairs.
You're not listening to my words, so I'll repeat myself once again. The people who were injured, yes, there were officers that had traumatic brain injury, but anybody who was injured that day that didn't commit any crimes, I absolutely feel for.
So why? Let me ask you, why do you not see the government go after these people in a way that wasn't even reasonable? And they ruined their lives, bro. And I don't hear a word. I don't hear a word from the other side about average people.
Shut up, Tim.
Having the weight of the most powerful government. And the other side I don't hear is the fact that the lack of security. No one goes, how did these random people just get in here? As opposed to, it's supposed to be the most protected areas. Yet if you had your bodyguard, who you said was awesome, if he dropped the ball, you're not going to just be mad at the person that attacked you. You're going to be mad at this individual that you hired to do a certain job.
The president of the United States.
And no, that's not the job. Do you know the law? Who controls the security? Who controls the security?
The law, and I understand.
And who controls the security at
I understand a couple things there. First of all, Donald
Brian saying he knows the law. Spoiler alert, he knows nothing about the law.
Trump had the power. Has the power to call in the National Guard. Did he not?
Who controls?
I'm asking you.
Did he not try to?
I'm asking you.
Did he not try to?
What did he do?
Did he not try to?
What did he do that day?
He asked them, do you guys want this?
The January 6th Commission
investigated do you want this?
All right, guys.
He said he wanted. Who controls the security at the Capitol?
Donald Trump is the president of the United States.
Who controls?
Donald Trump had the power to call in the National Guard. He did not do that.
That's not the question I asked you.
It's been proven he did not do that. What you said is incorrect.
No, it's not. Can you please answer my question before we move on? Can you answer that question? Who's in charge of security for the?
Well, obviously you could point the finger as well at Nancy Pelosi.
Okay, thank you.
Donald, but
yeah, that's it.
But Donald Trump called in the National Guard within the flip of
I want to
a couple months back. Did he not?
I want to bring this into the modern era.
He didn't do that
because there's a couple things that are going on since then. So we'll move forward. Yeah. But the last thing I'll just say on the issue, because you made a point, is I'll use one example. There's a woman who lives in Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
The feds raided her home because
a friend of mine.
She looked like somebody who was in the Capitol.
Right.
So they raided her home. I mean, this is pretty crazy. That's not evidence. That's shocking.
Yeah.
So I think the issue that Siaka brings up, that I often bring up, is I sit down with somebody and they say someone punched a cop. I'm like, those people all deserve prison. Assaulted an officer, first offense.
They're not hostage and patriots. They don't deserve money.
Oh my God!
That's a different question. Brian. The people who are violent, the people who tear down barricades and smash windows, all deserve prison. But here's the issue: when I pointed out the majority of people who are actually charged, largely with misdemeanors, you have more than half of the people on the other side of the building where there's no riot. The rioters on one side of the building get in, and they go and open doors are on the other side. Internally, the police themselves open doors.
Right.
Then there's a bunch of people walking around, and what do they see? The doors were opened, and this is a public building.
In my video, you hear me go, "Is this where they're letting people in?"
There were
They go,
people.
Yep.
There were no.
Right.
You have made statements that are incorrect. You've first of all, how many officers let people in, and how many officers were working that day?
Well,
The one that I saw, there was two cops right there, and then there was a line of
Okay.
cops.
But again,
Hold on,
again,
and then there was a
again.
line of cops
Can I just
standing there,
respond
not
to what he
doing
just
anything,
said? So some
not
of those,
doing anything.
some of those
Chat,
cops,
kicking it.
some of those cops testified under oath. And some of those cops said, which I completely agree with, makes complete sense to me. If you have one cop per, say, 100 people, and you have an armed officer there, you basically have two choices. Choice number one, you take out your gun, you point it, and maybe start shooting at people, which I think everyone here would agree we didn't want them to do. Number two, you let them in. You have two choices in that situation. Why would
No,
you
you don't.
criticize?
You have three
tell me
choices.
what's the third
Yeah.
choice.
The third choice is what they did to me. Hey, go back the other way. Okay, officer.
you don't-
Thank you.
You don't think they tried to do that?
They did it for me. I literally
Hold
was.
Hold on.
I literally
The point.
Dude, this guy. Oh man. But it's so irritating because this guy was actually there. Like this guy knows from experience. And you have freaking like Wiener Brian Shapiro trying to like I don't know, lib explain to him. No, actually, this is what happened. And that's why this guy is getting so mad. Again, I don't blame you, brother. The Bryce Shaft fatigue is real. Okay. If you don't know, it seems like this guy did his research, though. So I'm surprised that he's getting so upset. If he really did a lot of research on Brian, then he would know all he needs to know. He should have watched my videos on Brian. Then he would have known all he needed to know. By the way, guys, we got 9 more to go to fill that super chat goal. Help me replace my windshield.
Cool verse.
Nope.
I was
not
able
that. Nope. I was not able to. That's a lie. That's a lie. Here we go.
Oh, come on. Really, Brian? Take that mushroom gobbler.
Hey, Brian, that was my windshield.
Screw your MAGA windshield. Let's buy me a new windshield. Cool verse.
It's buying me a new windshield, cool verse. A new windshield, if you will.
I'm bringing up once again, guys. Stop. This is what I'm trying to get to. We have already concluded the portion of violent rioters are bad and deserve prison. Now there's some contention there, but we largely agree, so we're moving past that. My question is, when the doors have been opened, and a fine gentleman over here is walking around with no idea what's going on public grounds, and they put him in prison, put him on a no-fly list. You didn't go to jail, did you?
No, I didn't go to jail. Well, only for one night, but they terrorized me.
But
for
again,
years.
right. So there are people who went to jail for a year or two, having been walking around doing nothing. This is prosecutorial overreach, and it's malicious.
I got a question about assault. Because if you spit on an officer, that's considered assault. But also, if you grab him by the hair and pull him on the ground,
no, hold on, we got
a battery too.
So typically, and there are some jurisdictions where this is different. Assault is putting.
Thank you very much, Lion Brian, for the $4.99. Wiener. Yeah, Wiener. Thank you very much, Lion Brian, for the $4.99. Appreciate it, brother.
Someone in reasonable fear of harm. Battery is taking an action, a physical contact that results in either harm or embarrassment.
So are there levels of assault where like a guy spit near a cop and then he got 3 years in solitary and a guy like pushed a cop and got in?
Typically, assault on an officer doesn't mean you're spitting near a cop. Assault on an officer means usually attacking a police officer.
Okay.
So I disagree about the doors being open. And by the way, when you have one officer and hundreds of people there, an officer, if you told them, just tell people to go the other way, some of those, some of those officers would laugh at you. That wasn't working. When you have hundreds of angry people that are trying to storm the Capitol, it works with some people, sure.
It worked with our group.
Guess what? It worked with you.
Because they talked about it.
Hold on.
And you know what?
Yeah. Well, okay. When they opened the doors, did people rush in? Because I don't recall people rushing in. I recall them walking in. Fairy Dust Bunnies for the gifted 1 Cool Vic membership. And congrats, Miss Kyoto's Clips. Welcome to the Coolverse, Miss Kyoto's Clips. Thank you very much, Fairy Dust Bunny. Let's go.
Again, the problem is
worked with you.
They shouldn't have came to my house with 15 agents
That's
and
a
guns
different,
in my face.
That's a different.
No, but that's the
circumstance.
problem. That's the ultimate problem,
I'll
brother.
get to that in a moment.
That's the thing.
I'll get to that in a moment.
So when you're talking about, there were cops standing around. I was talking to them.
That's a
and they didn't
different.
say.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
He's already been swearing.
I didn't.
That's what you're talking about. I'm happy to talk about that with you, but that's not what I'm referring to right now.
Right.
All I'm simply saying is maybe with somebody like you, when an officer says you can't go in here,
Somebody like me. Let's go back.
that's what you're talking about. I'm happy to talk about that with you, but that's not what I'm referring to right now.
Right.
All I'm simply saying is maybe with somebody like you, when an officer says you can't go in here, leave, maybe it would work with somebody like you. I guess it did. But there were people that they were violent people, some of them. They weren't listening to Capitol Police. So I'm going back to what I said earlier. You have two choices. When you have people that appear to be a threat to you, that could hurt you, that appear to be violent people, you have two choices if you're an officer with a gun. You either take out your gun and start shooting them, or you let them in. By the way, if you're in a bank, okay, and there's a security guard at the safe, and he says, come right in, does that give you the right to go in there and steal money from the safe? No, of course
Stealing
not.
is wrong.
Actually, hold on. That does create interesting legal problems.
Maybe, perhaps, but that doesn't mean you can go in there and just steal all the money.
No. Actually, you depending on the circumstances, you may have a hard time prosecuting that case.
Right, because
an individual standing in a bank and the security guard says, "No, you're free to enter," and they go, "Oh, okay."
The security guard would be breaking the law.
So here's I got something for you, and the first thing I'm going to tell you is I'm about to say something. You're going to give me an incorrect response. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to say is, get ready for it. January 6th is proven to have been an inside job.
Yep.
Confirmed.
Yep.
And
crushed. He's like, he was right. I am going to say that he's wrong about it. Look at him. He's like, you son of a bitch. Son of a bitch.
I'm going to prove it to you. I can prove it to you. Now, give me your response first.
So,
and then I'm going to explain to you why it's true, actually.
So, claims that the FBI...
I didn't say that.
Orchestrated January 6th.
I never said that.
You never said that. Okay.
Nope, I said it was inside job.
Okay, by who?
By police.
Okay, so there was an investigation in 2021 of it allegedly being an inside job. That was debunked. The report came out in 2024. I know you didn't. There were no undercover agents that were there. There were 0 full-time undercover FBI employees that were present in the protest.
Okay, wait, no, stop.
Sorry.
I'm
just going by the report that came out.
I need this response because this is important for everybody who's listening right now, so I can explain.
Now, there were informants that were present.
So the reason why I asked this question in the way that I did, and the reason why I got to pause you, Siaka, is you have changed the definition of inside job to fit this narrative.
Well, who was it? Tell me.
Okay, so hold on. The next thing I want to ask people is, what is your understanding of what an inside job is? Well, so let's start with a bank robbery. When there's a bank robbery and the police are investigating, and they say,
well, hold on. No, I know what it means. It means it's when a job is done indoors as opposed to outside, right?
This appears to be an inside job. Does this mean that they were undercover federal agents? Does it mean that the head of the bank was in on it? Does it mean that the head of the bank brought in a bunch of like 7 or 8 security guards to orchestrate a big robbery? It does not. It could. But typically it refers to a single low-level employee who provided aid to the criminals in some capacity. So an inside job at a bank, almost 80% of the time, 90% of the time, they're not usually referring to the CEO of the bank setting up a robbery. They're referring to a janitor propping open a back door with a broom so that the bad guys can sneak in the back. An inside job just means someone working within this bank aided those criminals.
I understand what your definition is.
So there are a few things to consider. First, did you know that a man was acquitted specifically because the police fanned him into the building?
No, I'm unaware of.
There is a man who was...
Of course. You only get your news from TDS News. Pix Paradox for the $9.99. Yo, first-time viewer. Who is Bryce Chat? That's funny, Pix Paradox. You are not a first-time viewer, but thank you very much for the $9.99.
Is acquitted. This is early on.
Black dude, right?
I think
he's the only one. He's the gay.
He showed video from where the police officer waved him into the building, and he points and he's like, and he walked in. They then criminally charged him, and he says, "This officer invited me into the building." That's an inside job. I'm not suggesting the FBI orchestrated.
You think the FBI it was an inside job with the FBI?
No, I don't.
You don't.
Matthew Martin was that guy's name who got acquitted.
And this was a big deal.
Yeah.
And this is when I brought up the point that, Cenk Uygur snapped on his show screaming and ranting about. I said, when a cop waves you to come on in, you can't trespass a person who was just asked to enter. Right. Now, there's more. Inside the building, Whatever your argument is as to who is violent or who, we know that there were a lot of violent people. We know that some people entered the other side of the building, and that's why they weren't charged with felonies. They were charged with misdemeanor trespass.
Right.
However, there is surveillance footage showing the shaman being walked with the police, and they opened the door. That is the definition of an inside job. Now, hold on. I've heard your argument about you have two choices, a gun, or you let him in.
And that
the shaman was by himself, surrounded by 7 or 8 police officers who said, "Come with me, sir, right this way," and walked him into the Senate chambers.
Yeah, I saw that video.
That is an inside job.
I know. Okay.
Yeah, I saw that video. I just want to ignore it because I want to, push my TDS on everybody, pushing the limits of my TDS. So I'm just going to disregard that. I'm not going to bring it up. By the way, fuck you, Tim, for bringing that up, making me look like shit here. But that's why I don't bring it up. I just want to talk about Trump calling them all hostages and patriots, including the violent ones that beat cops. Now, I'm going to get back to my question. Do you think they're hostages and patriots? Thank you very much, Carpman, for the $10. Thank you for covering this lolcow, Vic. Keep up the good work, sir, Vic. Thank you very much, Carpman. I appreciate it.
Okay, so let me respond to that real quickly. So as you know, Tim, there are a lot of people on the extreme right that say it was an FBI inside job. I know you're not saying that.
Right.
But here's the deal, right? Kash Patel, about 6 months ago, made statements saying that there were going to be arrests, that it was an inside job. That they literally have made statements like that within the Trump administration. Mm-hmm. If, in fact, there are people that broke the law and there's some sort of inside job, then where are the arrests? Let's present that evidence in a courtroom. I saw what is it? The shaman? Is that how you pronounce his name?
Shaman.
Whatever the fuck his name is.
That's Michael Jackson's
yeah.
interlude.
Yeah, Shimon. Shimon. John Wayne for the $5. Cheers. Cheers to you, brother. Hope you're having a good pub crawl. Thank you very much for the $5. Shimon.
I've interviewed that clown.
Jacob Chansley is.
Yeah, Jacob.
He's not a Trump guy, by the way.
I know, but he's a clown living in his mom's basement. I've interviewed him before. He ran for office. He got destroyed. He got embarrassed. He's got an IQ of about 20. But anyway, that was weird.
That's not fair.
That was weird video. I did see that, and I'm hearing you. All I'm simply saying is, we keep hearing from the Trump administration, inside job. There's going to be arrest. Well, Kash, where the hell are the arrests? I keep hearing these arrests are coming.
Agreed.
Yeah. So like you think you keep hearing it like that. Who do you think's more frustrated about that? You or me?
Me.
Yeah.
We all
shit. Me, because fuck Trump. That's why.
Arrests are coming.
Agreed.
Yeah. So like you think you keep hearing it like that. Who do you think's more frustrated about that? You or me?
Well,
Yeah.
we all agree we want to see action.
No, but
under the presumption that's
Brian Shapiro left speechless at the hands of Siaka, or at the hands of this based January 6er.
They're making these claims.
But the point I make on that is the fact that, dude, those arrests vindicate and the belief that we have in so many nonviolent, especially nonviolent, even some that kill themselves, J6ers, want to see.
What do you guys think about arresting and then pardoning those people?
The ones that
Well, yeah, they're hostages and patriots. Vic is gonna be hard not to use the Bryce Shot voice when you debate them. It is actually gonna be it's gonna be really difficult because I'm probably gonna end up busting. I naturally kind of just go into impressions when I'm really into it, so it's gonna come out. It's gonna be hard not to come out. And then if Sarah says something, I'm gonna bust out the bucko thing. It's gonna be hard.
Yeah. After 3 years of solitary, maybe we'll.
Maybe we'll talk about it. But here again, and we were talking about this earlier. I personally think J6 was more than just like, oh, hey, let's present it as insurrection for one side and let's freedom fighters for others. To me, part of it was government working on technology to be able to come and find all of us in a certain way. And everyone that crossed that border onto the grass got their phone pings that we talked about before. A lady who was pregnant at the time, just got pregnant. She was standing on the grass. She was put under 9 months of house arrest because she was an insurrection by January 6th. She also they were threatened to take her baby away because they were being terrorists.
Let me ask you a question.
They're being
Did
terrorists.
Donald Trump's behaviors that day bother you at all?
Oh my God. Look at this. Look at him. Siaka is like, You didn't just hear a damn word I said, did you, white boy? Like you just did not hear a damn thing I said. You motherfucker.
4 hours, he did nothing. He sat on his ass and he did nothing.
His behavior, he said peacefully
I'm not
and
talking.
patriotically.
I'm not fight like.
Let me.
I'm not talking about
wait.
the state. Hold on. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about just the statements he made before.
Okay.
I'm talking about the 3.5 to 4 hours when he
Yeah.
was asked and begged by members of his administration to put out a video.
Okay, wait, hold on.
He did nothing.
Okay,
for
he did
3
put out
hours.
the video.
So hold on,
3
guys.
hours later.
Let's pull it into the future.
Right?
Let's
why does Nancy Pelosi
Okay.
not get
There
any?
you go with Nancy.
so guys,
She's in
okay.
charge, dude.
Okay, guys.
She's not in charge of the.
Oh God, here we go with Nancy Pelosi again. Nancy Pelosi. What about Trump? The last time I checked, Nancy Pelosi wasn't the president of the United States. For the last thing I know, it wasn't Pelosi woman bad, insider stock trading bad, insider stock trading woman bad. It's Orange Man bad, pal. We have to keep it to Trump.
We're gonna move forward, and we're gonna try and make.
This is the.
We're gonna move forward because
real quick, please, real quick. This is.
Yeah, come on, Tim. Just let him cook. Let him cook. Hey, Vic, you should do what Rob Nor did. Make a video you dressed and act like Brian talking about all the bingo card points in one show would work. Yeah, maybe I will.
The problem. It's everything's Trump's fault, but the people who actually can be held responsible for
which is what I'm trying to
Why
set
did
up.
Trump call out the National Guard in 5 minutes a couple months ago?
Why did you have 5 people?
We're gonna mute you guys in 3 seconds because you're starting to debate something we debated 20 minutes ago again.
He brought that up. Yeah.
So the next question we have is on the merits.
Don't censor me, Tim.
I will censor you, brother. the insurrection question, the behaviors of Donald Trump, and eligibility for office, which brings us halfway to today. So one of the big issues we have right now that's up for debate is this woman, Daria Eliza Chevalier. She has just won her primary, which is it's a de facto win for Congress because she's in a Democrat district.
Right.
She is part of 2 organizations, CUAD. It's been reported. CUAD, which he's reported as a founder of, which is Columbia University Apartheid Divest, as well as its sister organization, I believe it's the National Society for Justice for Palestinians, NSJP. Both of these organizations have put out statements saying that their goals are to destroy either Western civilization or to destroy America by bringing violence to America. So this is a stated insurrectionist, I guess, intent and rebellious, etc., or of some, as you'd call it. And now there's a question of whether or not she should be allowed in Congress. How can you swear an oath to the Constitution having explicitly stated you intend to destroy this nation? Before we get to that, though, we're going to go halfway with the question of Donald Trump's eligibility. Did Donald Trump incite an insurrection and participate, thus making him ineligible for office?
It's a good question. Jack Smith might have something to say about that when he leaves office. I think Jack Smith has a pretty good case. But it's a very slippery slope, as I ask Trump supporters all the time, and I understand you and I disagree on the 2020 election, but I always ask people, if Donald Trump doesn't lie, and I consider it a lie, that the election was stolen, does January 6th happen? Obviously, the answer is no. Did he incite?
Yeah, notice he has to throw in there, and I consider it a lie. Oh, okay. If you consider it a lie, oh, okay, then valid question then. Felipe, thank you very much for the Canadian Fiver. Hey, Vic, did you guys notice the Shapiro at PTL radio show channel chatting positive things in the live chat like Brian is the smartest, the best? Actually, I know, but I didn't, but that's hilarious, though. Thank you very much, Felipe.
Well, I go back to, if he's not lying about the election every day, months before January 6th, that day does not happen. Now, we'll have to wait and see what happens when he leaves office. My understanding is they did not charge him with incitement, but I would certainly say that if not for Donald Trump lying, saying the election was rigged every day for like almost 2 months before January 6th, it doesn't happen.
Indeed, but that's not legal incitement in any capacity.
Right.
It's a slippery slope. It's a gray area. I don't know.
But it's not even a gray area. If I said that, if I publicly defamed you in the most egregious of ways, accusing you of violent crimes against children or whatever, that's not incitement. That's defamation.
I would say dereliction of duty would probably be easier on the day that it happened than incitement. I think that's a better case you could make.
But he's not an insurrectionist.
I understand that.
Right.
But I'm just saying I could probably make a better case for that based on his inaction that day.
So again, by all means, if you want to accuse Trump of some kind of wrongdoing, the principal question is he eligible for office? And Democrats tried in several states to bar him from running for office again under this argument that he incited an insurrection intentionally with the purpose of overthrowing the U.S. government. Now, again, I'm stressing this. This was a principal mainstream liberal position that was held by prominent Democrats across the board in multiple states, and they spent millions, if not tens of millions, to actually try to implement that strategy.
I mean, listen, you could make the same argument about Republicans and Benghazi and the 8 investigations that were led by Republicans into Hillary Clinton. It happens on both sides. They wait.
Yeah. Keep him on topic. Matt Flynn for the $4.99. Are we supposed to believe people in the middle of an insurrection are going to see a Trump video? Yeah, no, exactly. Thank you very much, Matt Flynn. Trump said, go in peace, respect law enforcement, don't be violent, make your voice heard, stand back and stand by, go home. Even posted a video at 2 p.m., then Twitter deleted the evidence. Yeah, exactly.
Money, and I think we should be talking about, more. What we know is that didn't happen. Obviously, Donald Trump is the president of the United States.
By all means, you can rag on Hillary or rag on Trump for going after Hillary. The question is, if we want to have a debate on Benghazi, we can. But the question is, did Donald Trump orchestrate and incite an insurrection for the purpose of overthrowing the U.S. government?
No. Who? I mean,
yeah, no. Like I look at Trump like a sausage fingers guy. You know what I mean? Like,
well, his fingers do look like sausages.
But this is my point. When he's dialing the phone, like called Fifi.
Yeah, and his mega followers with their little mega fingers dialing the phone to call me up every day. Their little mega fingers.
Everybody like, what is Kafifi? Trump sausaged fingers his phone and accidentally pressed send. That's it.
You and I know some of the same people, very prominent people on the right that I've had private conversations with, and in some of those private conversations, Donald Trump has admitted he lost the election. So in private,
so there's an issue there, right?
Yeah. Are they messaging you, Brian? Or are you harassing them? It's like, oh God, freaking Brian Shapiro is blowing up my phone again, asking if Donald Trump incited 2020 insurrection.
I feel like a lot of the conversations, the left likes to play a semantic game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the question is, what is the context of what is being said? So if Donald Trump behind the scenes says, I've lost, what does that mean?
Well, legally, it doesn't really mean anything. But
is he saying they have out procedured me in a way that is illicit and wrong, but I cannot secure power?
I think we're getting in the weeds here.
Or is he saying the people of America don't like me and have voted against me?
I think we're getting in the weeds here, Tim. I think it's very simple with Donald Trump. I think we all know that the man can't admit he loses at anything. He's a narcissist. I think that's what this comes down to. He doesn't care about election integrity.
But again,
he doesn't care about any of this stuff. He just can't admit that he lost.
That's fine.
That's what it comes down to.
But
yeah, TDS, Brian, TDS. That's another thing. That's what all these TDS people, they just assume Trump is the worst human being. He's a narcissist. He's a horrible, evil human being. Like they just know what the man thinks. They know what's in his heart. And he's just a bad guy. That's why they get really offended when Trump does anything, because he assumed the worst intentions.
But there is a question of what is he referring to? What did he lose? Did he lose a procedural game against Democrats, or did he lose the will of the American people? They're two different questions.
I think you can make the argument he maybe perhaps both. I mean, listen, I'll take myself, for example. My vote for Joe Biden was an anti-Donald Trump vote. Joe Biden wasn't my first, second, or third choice. I'll say the same thing about Kamala Harris. Going back to 2020, going back to 2020, I always hear the same argument from MAGA Republicans who claim that, Trump won. He got 81 million votes. Well, let me tell you something. A lot of those votes were anti-Donald Trump votes. Now, I don't think Joe Biden was a horrible president. I don't think.
Yeah. How did Donald Trump get 78 million votes, though? Both of their voter counts were inflated. It was high inflation for those votes. How did they both get super high votes, though? It wasn't just that Joe Biden won in a landslide. Donald Trump also got more votes than in the 2016 election.
Joe Biden is a bad guy, but I can tell you a lot of people voted for Joe Biden, especially in the pandemic during that.
Yeah, and exactly. Where are the 81 million Kamala votes? Yeah, where did they go? Where did all those people go? Why didn't they show up for Kamala?
All right, time because it was an anti-Trump vote.
Let's come to today.
Trump doesn't spread any propaganda.
He doesn't have 6 different stations on your face all day. He doesn't have musical artists talking all day. He doesn't have the actors talking shit all day.
Okay.
Not to the Kid Rock is one person. You're going to count Kid Rock or an entire
Have you
Capitol
watched
Records?
Fox News, Newsmax, or OAN? You've been on Fox.
No one's heard of OAN. Fox News is just one station. We're talking about the whole media institution. It's not just limited to the news networks. It's the late night talk show. It's like freaking what Siaka is saying right here. It's the actors, the singers. You know how many freaking, like, especially like freaking 7 years ago, how I would go to like a concert or something, and then halfway through the show, they had to do their TDS break and talk about how evil Orange Man is. They still do it. Like you go to concerts, you go to the freaking movies, the TV shows, the award shows, the late night talk shows, the colleges, everywhere. The propaganda is everywhere. That's how you get TDS infected people like Brian here, because the propaganda, you couldn't escape it. Social media before Elon Musk bought X. Social media was heavily influenced by left-wing media. You couldn't escape it. Fat Samurai, thank you very much for the $4.99. Why would Bryce promote his debate? Because he is getting dog walked back. Yeah, I don't know, man. He's a masochist. But thank you very much, Fat Samurai. They all do the melon cap, yeah.
I have three. I've been on Fox News, OAN.
I've been on
all of them too.
Fox News is a joke of a network.
I've been on all of them.
Wait.
You're talking the number one.
Okay.
The number one that everyone. It doesn't matter.
Like,
CNN's not a joke.
You don't think
MSNBC's not a joke? What are you talking about?
CNN sued for $900 million. Did they have to? Who did that?
And you know what? Didn't they just drop their lawsuit against the My Pillow guy?
No.
Didn't they just do that?
I didn't ask you about.
No. But didn't they just drop it? Fox settled. Fox didn't admit any guilt. They settled.
Why did they?
Because they were scared cowards. They were scared cowards. If they had waited like Mike Lindell, they would have dropped.
Did OAN settle?
They were cowards too.
Wait. This actually,
but Mike Lindell wasn't. Did they drop it against Mike, or did he? What happened to Mike? Did he have to pay him?
So I'll answer.
Did he stand tall?
I'll answer that.
Did he stand tall and they drop it?
I find it very interesting that the My Pillow drug addicted idiot that you're defending right now.
So now it matters when did they drop the lawsuit?
Wait. I gotta stop you there. I'm going to give credit to Hunter Biden for getting clean, and Mike Lindell deserves the exact same respect.
Fair point. I still think Mike might be on something. But anyway, with that being said, I don't think Lindell TV is at the level of
I don't care about
the bigger networks.
What I'm talking about, bro.
I wouldn't say.
I'm talking about him personally.
People, all right. Well, congratulations.
They went after
Mike
him
Lindell and the
personally.
8 people watching Lindell TV. The point.
Him personally stood tall, and then they dropped it.
Wait. Hold on.
The point that I was trying to make.
Lindell won.
Okay. The point that I was trying to make is you use the term propaganda. I just interviewed Hunter Biden last week, okay? The propaganda about his laptop and that he was with underage girls. The propaganda you guys talk about Burisma, but you don't want to talk about the billions of dollars that Donald Trump has made in a crypto scandal. You don't want to.
Oh my God, dude, this guy, man, he is the worst. Like, it's fun to laugh at him, but man, there's just sometimes he just gets on my nerves. And now he's starting to spur out, but Trump, the Trump.
Talk about the $600 million government contract with Don Jr. You don't want to talk about that stuff, but talk about Hunter Biden's paintings. So if you want to the bullshit about propaganda, that's all you guys do.
Was Hunter Biden?
And yet those are just drops in the bucket. Oh, by the way, why did the media try to censor the laptop story? The laptop story, it wasn't allowed to be talked about on social media. Social media, like Facebook, was told, don't cover this. I think Twitter at the time was told, don't cover this. It's fake news. Let's talk about the freaking laptop and how it was suppressed. Or how about the diary, Joe Biden's daughter's diary, how that was suppressed. Yeah, let's talk about all that, Brian.
His laptop, was it suppressed or no during the 2020 election?
What's in the laptop? What did he do?
That's not what I asked you. Don't
that's
answer
not
a question. That's women.
Tell me.
No, I'm asking you, was it or not?
Who suppressed it?
So you don't think it was at all?
Wait, hold on.
You don't think it was at all then?
Okay,
tell me.
Facebook.
FBI.
Facebook suppressed it. I think
which would include Instagram,
Twitter
at the time,
and
sharing the link in the Twitter
files.
So
what's in the laptop?
New York
doesn't matter, man. It's about suppressing information to try to craft the narrative to a certain thing,
right?
Would
you say the same thing about the Epstein files?
Hold on.
No, they do matter because I was screaming about the Epstein files before it became cool for your side to actually care about people. Apparently,
not true.
What are you talking about?
Not true. You have no idea.
Give me all the leftists. Give me the prominent leftists that talked about Epstein files before Trump said it was all.
I will gladly. First of all,
please.
I don't speak for the left. Okay, I'm not okay, but I'm going to tell you my personal.
Want me to?
Well, no, you're.
I don't speak for the left, as you all know. I am a registered independent. That's who I speak for. So you better learn that, pal. Don't ever call me a liberal.
A far right-wing person. Why would
No. You want me to speak for the
so
right?
I'm gonna give you my personal opinion on the
Everything's far
Epstein
right.
file.
Yeah, that's another good point. Yeah, he wants him to speak for the right, and he wants him to speak for Trump. But I don't speak for the left because I'm an independent. I'm a registered independent. So why would I speak for them anyway? It'll just be disingenuous.
Okay. Here's what I will say. Every single Democrat voted to release the files recently. Every single one. Here's what I will say. My personal opinion is on the Epstein files. And I've been very consistent on this. Even when Maxwell
We don't care.
was facing trial, I said, I don't care whether it's somebody on the left or the right. I don't care if it's Bill Clinton or Donald Trump. Here's what we know right now.
All right.
Yeah, but he would vote for Bill Clinton. If Bill Clinton and Donald Trump ran for president, he would vote for Bill Clinton. By the way, who is painted in a dress on Epstein Island? It's not Trump.
All right, let me tell you guys.
The right was literally they were campaigning on this. Remember the binders?
Yeah.
Remember Jack Posobiec and all these idiots with the binders out there? How did that work out?
Okay, guys, let me throw some knowledge out there for the average person there who can learn about that Hunter Biden laptop and why I think it's very likely the man will not do a sit-down interview with me. So
I think he will. I disagree.
We'll see. What was
Oh, maybe that's why Tim Pool wants Bryce Shapp around, huh? Hey, can you give me that Hunter Biden contact? Can you how about that number where I could get a hold of Hunter Biden's people, huh, Bryce Shapp?
relevant in the Hunter Biden
And maybe you could put in a good word for me. Yeah, I will, Tim.
laptop? I did not care all that much about the illicit photos. I mean, those call into his question his character. People made fun of his teeth because he was getting his teeth redone. And I will fully admit, I did not know that was actually dental work getting done. I thought his teeth were actually just bad and he had messed them up. And then people explained to me that photo of his teeth, it's because he's actually getting teeth work. I was like, okay. A few things. There was an email about a China deal in which he made a reference to 10% held by H for the big guy. Tony Bobulinski did an interview where he basically said, this is money being held for the vice president at the time. This is basically we're doing backroom deals with these corporations. The next issue, of course, is the issue of Burisma, where we learned about Hunter Biden receiving money to be on the board of Burisma. Now, the interesting thing is, this is deep political stuff that I think the American people need to.
Oh, Bill Clinton's painting was in the Epstein's New York home. All right. Well, hey, it was still in Epstein's someplace involved with Epstein. That's still an Epstein thing, but thank you for the correction. And thank you very much, C. Stovall, for the $5. I'm not on the left. I just gobble their mushrooms. Griff the planet, not one step back. Thank you very much, C. Stovall. We need one more to go, by the way, for that super chat goal.
Reconcile, and they don't want to. And that is the response from liberals over the Burisma issue was that this was all in line with U.S. foreign policy. The fact that Joe Biden went to the president and said, if you don't fire the prosecutor, you're not getting the $1 billion, which is illegal. But it didn't matter if it was legal or illegal because U.S. special interests, CIA, military, etc., wanted this to happen. Big story. It connects to everything, including Iran. So I will keep it succinct. Russia runs Gazprom gas pipelines through Ukraine. They control about 20% of natural gas into Europe. The past 20 years of conflict have largely been centered around getting cheaper gas into Europe for economic expansion. We have been hindered, the West has been hindered in quite a many ways. Assad blocked the Qatar-Turkey pipeline. Russia was controlling prices through Gazprom. When we could not alleviate the pressures, Russia then starts running gas through Nord Stream.
Yeah.
And so the CIA blows that up. It was actually a Ukrainian guy. He's been indicted by the German authorities and is believed to have been at the behest of the U.S., the CIA, to stop Russia from winning favor over in Europe and putting them in a sphere of influence where Russia has more control. We didn't like that.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Lenny. Yeah, this is all way over Brian's head. Yeah, this is above my pay grade, pal. I'm just here to spurg about Trump. I don't know why Tim Pool always gets into all this bull, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a shit. I just want to spurg about Trump. Why doesn't Tim Pool get that? Thank you very much, Pix Paradox, for the $9.99 goal. Thank you very much to the Coolverse.
Chilled. No, you Coolverse. You are all despicable human beings, almost as despicable as that 34-count felon.
Yes, you guys are almost as despicable as that 34 count felon. Thank you guys very much for fixing my windshield.
Because of your super chats, I was able to fix my windshield.
And you pissed off Bryce Shap. So hey, that's always a win. Thank you guys very much. Let me restart the goal. We'll bring it back to the Crip Walk, huh? Keep it traditional.
Bashar al-Assad ousted largely because he aligned with Russia, would not allow these gas pipelines. So Hunter Biden, there's a former director of counterterror for the CIA on the board of Burisma as well. People need to ask these questions. Mykola Zlochevsky is the founder of Burisma. It's an energy company in Ukraine. The purpose of this company is to create a competitive mechanism by which the U.S. can fight Russian gas power in Europe. Hunter Biden's position on this was, I would argue, of course, there's nepotism. This guy's not getting this job without his dad being the vice president, but it's because they want to put in a high-level, American-aligned insider in a foreign company so that Western and U.S. influence over energy in Ukraine is controlled. They can't put Joe Biden in there. He's literally an elected official. So they need people who are outside of government but are loyal to government and proven, so that the West can control this influence. So you get a former director of counterterrorism, and you get Hunter Biden. Now, I'd love to talk to him about this because I'm sure he might just say something like, well, I got a job, and that's all it was.
I did talk to him about it. He gave me a different time frame as.
Yeah, I did talk to him. By the way, I did talk to him about it. You know, I asked him all the questions because, you know, I interviewed Hunter Biden and we talked to each other. Great guy. Love him. Amazing. Just respectable. Unlike that 34 count felon. Zeldin, thank you very much for the 10. Supporting your channel. Thanks for the entertainment. Well, thank you very much for the 10, Zeldin. I appreciate it.
To when his father was not the president or the vice president. But here's what I'll say in general terms about this. I think there need to be laws and stricter laws put in place so that family members can't take advantage of who their father is or who their mother is in certain positions. With that being said, yes, of course, he got the Burisma gig. I think it was $50,000 a month, something about.
No. Well, it's been reported at 80.
Of course, he got that
$1 million a year.
Of course, he got that gig because of who his father is. Of course. With that being said, the levels of corruption that we've seen under Donald Trump are immeasurable.
Okay, but I gotta stop.
Jared Kushner.
Yeah, Donald Trump is worse. Yeah. By the way, the super chat goal is glitching. I tried to restart it. It's not. I don't know what's going. Oh, there it is. There it is. It's working again. Whoop whoop. Sending donos.
$2.1 billion from the Saudi.
I'm going to stop you because
deal.
I'm bringing up this so that we can have a through line of this conversation around, like, we're moving forward. We absolutely can talk about Trump and all those things you want to say. I don't want to get off this subject because we're talking about the Hunter Biden laptop, why it was relevant.
In the Hunter Biden laptop, and I spoke to him about this. This was when he was suffering from drug addiction. Yes, there's stuff on there, some pictures that don't make him look great. And
I'm trying to say this, like, the reason why I don't want to derail instantly into what Trump has done to Kushner.
Okay, I'm happy to talk about Hunter.
But again, I want to make the point, and I hope the American people understand this. Well, not literally every single person, but those watching. The U.S. government is doing these things all of the time.
Yes,
they're doing it under Obama. They're doing it under Bush, even Trump. There is going to be Western operations that you will despise that they are going to do, and it's going to make things better for you. Now, here's the funny thing where I can wrap this up with a neat little bow. The principal reason that people are pissed off, if like this issue with Biden, and I got to be honest, if they didn't bring gay communism into institutions, schools, movies, and otherwise, people are going to be like, if you said, I'm saying literally, I'm not.
You're not wrong, but it's just.
Listen.
Well, I think you are wrong. What's wrong with gay communism, huh? I'm a gay communist.
If you go to a Trump supporter, and the question you got to ask yourself is, do people genuinely understand their own feelings? The answer is no, absolutely not. This is why a lot, like, people don't have this ability to be introspective. So when I talk to somebody and they say, I can't stand Joe Biden, I'm not going to listen to the words they're saying. I'm going to look at their actions, and I'm going to try and find the underlying causes of stress in their lives. And typically you'll find that most people want to.
I wonder if he's going to try. I wonder if this is kind of a little dig at Brian, if he's going to try to psychoanalyze Brian.
Strike at a symbol of what they feel is causing them strife or oppression or something to that effect. The left does it, the right does it. So when you ask a Trump supporter and they're complaining the Hunter Biden laptop,
right?
I'm going to pause. Okay, I'm going to say to you, sir, do you really care that the United States deployed special assets and interests to control natural gas in Europe? I think the answer is no.
Right.
So why are you mad at the Bidens? They're going to find any reason to point out impropriety.
I agree.
Because, and I'll say this, it comes down to, I went to watch my favorite movie and they made my favorite story, and Anne Boleyn's now a black gay woman. Star Wars sucks. Why is everyone yelling at me? I can't watch basketball anymore.
Right.
So what happens is when someone watches the BLM riots, they say, why are these people smashing and burning things down and no one's getting arrested? These are the things that affect them on their daily life. They want to play a video game. They're told they can't. So they built up this, there's an anger they feel because of what is directly impacting them. Then when someone comes to them and say, those Bidens, they're all woke. You know what Hunter Biden did too? He was in Burisma. And they're going to say, they are my enemies. They have made things that I do not like. So now I'm going to latch onto something that normally would not matter to me because it makes them my enemy.
But you had
similarly for Trump.
You had going back to the Hunter Biden.
Yeah, Tim Pool's like, yeah, can really listen to what I have to say, Brian. Really, it's very similar to how people feel about Trump. Just sit on that, please, and reflect on that. Yeah, whatever. But did you hear that Donald Trump did the bad thing? Real quick, guys, make sure to click that like button and subscribe to my channel if you are enjoying.
Laptop real quickly, and then we can move on. But you had mentioned again the word.
Didn't listen to a damn thing he said. Didn't listen to a damn thing he said. He's probably going to pivot right back to Trump. Look at him. You just know it.
Propaganda. I interviewed a woman who was a lunatic by the name of Tina Peters, who just got out of jail.
Right.
Tina Peters, when I interviewed her a few weeks before she went to jail, claimed she had the hard drive of the Hunter Biden laptop. Now, she is an absolute freaking lunatic. But if you want to talk about propaganda, all the people out there, and listen, there are people that say things, on the right and the left, obviously, that are not true. But that Hunter Biden was with underage, Asian girls. And I heard all this weird. Okay. I'm going to tell you something about.
What about those pictures with him and his niece, his underage niece? What about those pictures, Brian? Truth Revolt TV, thank you very much for the $4.99. Happy to finally catch a live. Well, we're happy to have you here, Truth Revolt. Thank you very much for the $4.99.
Hunter Biden. He's not a perfect man. I've gotten a little chance to get to know him over the last few months or so. And he is a smart guy who struggled through drug addiction. And what he is doing now is admirable. He is helping people that struggle with addiction.
Okay.
He's admirable. He's not perfect.
Yeah, he's admirable, but the My Pillow guy, though, someone who also overcame drug addiction and then went on to start a successful business. Oh, he's not admirable. No, he's a piece of shit because he supports Trump.
And he is a smart guy who struggled through drug addiction. And what he is doing now is admirable. He is helping people that struggle with addiction.
Okay.
He's admirable. He's not perfect. I'm sick of people calling them the Biden crime family, but yet the same people who go after Hunter Biden and go after the laptop and talk about Joe Biden are the people that don't want to talk about the $2.1 billion that Jared Kushner took.
Well,
they don't want to talk about the levels of corruption.
So
I want consistency.
That's the point. Consistency. When January 6th happened, everyone was an insurrectionist. No one wanted to look into. Hold on, this is all. No, I'm going through the whole thing. This may not have been you, but I'm telling you from sitting on this side of the fence. When you're looking in everything was negative for Trump, and something just like the laptop to go at the very least, the lowest level. Why are they censoring this stuff?
Yeah.
Let's go back to COVID. Hey, man, I heard before everything came out, I heard like these Indian doctors had a report taken off the internet because it was showing what really happened, and you couldn't say anything. And one side was like, well, as long as I wear the mask and take the shot, I'm the good guy. You guys don't deserve to go to restaurants.
Operation Warp Speed, is that a good thing?
I don't really.
Oh my God, I would have freaking just thrown that bottle right at Brian. Like, you mother to die. Oh my God, dude, just doesn't listen to a freaking gosh darn thing that this guy says or anybody says. He's just looking for his next freaking Trump talking point. Was Operation Warp Speed a good thing? It's like, just thing. Ow. That's what you get.
Care because I
don't care.
No.
You voted for Donald Trump. I'm just curious what you're an anti-vaxxer, right?
Yeah. Well, not a necessary anti-vaxxer. I just didn't believe in that thing that came out of nowhere and didn't isolate the virus itself.
So don't take it.
I didn't.
Okay. So what's the problem?
Oh my God, dude. So what's the problem? Just don't take it. Oh yeah, well, we didn't really get the option, did we, Brian? There was people there, like here in California, thank God it never got to that point. But there were actually talks about like, oh, kids can't go to school unless they get the jab. Like I said, we were so lucky that it never got to that point. But there was talks like you can't go to school unless you get the jab. You can't go to certain places unless you get the jab. You can't work unless you get the jab. It wasn't a choice, Brian. Yeah, it's either get the jab or you have your life taken away.
Not let me inside something because I didn't take it.
But wait, it was mandated.
That's
well, I was
yeah.
Did they force J6ers in jail to get it?
In jail, they did.
Yeah, they made it. It's crazy.
As in general terms, I almost died of COVID, but in general terms, I've never been pro mandate. I've also
even though I love to go on mandates.
Personal. Tell me if you disagree with this personal opinion. I know we're getting into another topic here, but
I know we're getting to it. I know I'm successfully pivoting over to something else. But yeah, I love mandates. Go on mandates all the time.
But I've always said this should be a personal decision between your personal physician who knows your medical history. Right. As you know, in this country, 2/3 of people in this country have comorbidities. It's horrible. A lot of people that are very unhealthy. I've never said that you should be forced to be vaccinated. But here's my issue, and I think we will agree on this.
Nope,
you shouldn't be telling other people what to do. Don't chastise someone because they
don't. On one hand, I don't believe in mandates, but don't tell people what to do. Huh? Does he know what a mandate is?
If they are vaccinated, I'm a type 1 juvenile diabetic. And again, I'm not saying you did that.
No, but
type 1.
But I almost
he's blaming you personally for his diabetes.
You know what? So I was actually been waiting to talk about this. So Brian Shapiro, he brings up about how he almost died. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. And I was like thinking about freaking stuff. And then I was like, it hit me. And I was like, hey, like Brian's talked about how he had the juvenile diabetes. I wouldn't be surprised if the reason why he was hospitalized is because he was already immune compromised or whatever, which is exactly like if you're someone who's already has some kind of illness, yeah, you should stay out, stay home. It's your job to protect yourself. But those are the people who are mostly at risk. Old people and the people who their immunity was compromised due to some other affliction. That's who it was. But Brian will sit here and be like, I almost died. I was in the hospital. But that wasn't everybody. Most people that got really sick and then they healed up and then life moved on. We didn't need to have lockdowns. We didn't need to have jab mandates. Okay. You, Brian, should have stayed your ass at home then. It's up to you to protect yourself. But Brian wants the government to take care of everybody. This dude really believes that it's the government's job to wipe our asses for us pretty much.
That's the debate.
I've been called diabetes boy before.
Wait, you got to be careful. What if he finds a time?
By the way,
goes back.
Go back.
By the way, I'll give this pickup line to Ian. Ian, good pickup line. You're so sweet. You gave me diabetes. Thank you. Very good pickup line. Anyway,
taking that one home with
listen, I've been very consistent on that, right? You know, nobody should have been forced to have taken the jab. However,
don't tell people what to do. It's like pick one. Thank you very much, Museum, for the $5. Has anyone ever seen Mario and Brian in the same room? Both are little red dudes obsessed with gobbling mushrooms. You know, that's a good point. You should have picked him to play Mario in the Mario movie. Thank you very much, Museum, for the $5.
Don't chastise others for getting vaccinated. You know, I've debated Trump support.
You know how to pay a child support. Yeah, we don't care if you guys want to go get jabs. Be our guests. Go right ahead. But why were you trying to force people who didn't want it to get it? That's the issue. That's why we make fun of your asses for it. Don't try to. This will be like, don't tell people what to do. Right after saying, well, we shouldn't force people.
But the chastisement.
And they get the vaccine, you liberal. And I said, well, guess what? Trump got vaccinated, you idiot. Yeah, well, I mean, these people are stupid.
Here's the difference. Here's the difference. People lost their job.
Yeah, people did lost their jobs. And Museum, I did actually read your super chat right now. But yeah, and also Trump will Brian Shapiro will call us a cult. They're a cult. They do what their cult leader says, Trump. But Trump stopped talking about the jab because he would get booed at his own rallies. When Trump would bring up the jab at his own rallies and, oh, it's so great, I don't regret it. Go get the jab. It's amazing. It's wonderful. He would get booed at his own rallies, which defeats the whole cult thing right there. Like, he doesn't talk about it anymore because he knows that people don't like it. His supporters do not support it. So again, some cult where we're booing our own cult leader
because they didn't, and no support from the average person. The average person who should be like, dude, you can't fire Joe. Joe's one of my workers. If he's my homie, if he doesn't want to take it, that's his right. That's not what happened. It was get them out of here. They're pariahs. People holding signs, put them in gas chambers.
So if you own a business,
this is the thing that was going on.
So if you own a business, you don't think you should have the right to do that?
You should have the right if you
For
own a
employees.
business. No. If you own
I
a
don't
business,
think you should.
not for the employees because that's
just asking you.
No, that's not for employees because
he's going to pivot to something else.
under most state constitutions, including ours, you can't discriminate based on.
So during the pandemic, when I was at a radio station, I had to do my show out of my apartment, and nobody was allowed in the radio station. My personal opinion is, if you own a restaurant, you can kick somebody out for wearing a MAGA hat if you want to.
Not in DC.
Well, in certain places.
No, but DC is the one place it's wild.
But for the most part, you can kick someone out if you don't like their shirt or
you can not service. Yeah.
So I'm kind of like,
not employment.
My opinion is if you're running your own business, you can do things the way you want to do as long as you're not like discriminating.
Wait, this is where the propaganda came in, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't like some restaurants chose to do this, and it's like, no. There was like this social shaming going on. Businesses were pressured to, dude, in California, like we had like rules and laws that like we had like I think like phases or something where it's like, oh, phase 3, like you can't do this and that. Phase 2, you can't do this and that. And it's like, as the cases went down, they would free us up. But then if cases increased, then we would get locked down again. It was freaking ridiculous. But that's the government right there. The Democrat states mostly that forced people to lock down and would force businesses to lock down. I don't know what he's talking about, as if just some businesses have the choice. Like, oh, yeah, well, some businesses just chose to do it. Some businesses didn't. Oh, the free market. Like, no, businesses were forced to close down.
The major news stations, except even Fox, jumped in there. If you take this, then this will happen, will be good for society. Those who don't take this is getting in the way. CNN, MSNBC,
Fox News.
Fox News even said that.
Ben Shapiro.
There was Ben Shapiro, who at the time I was like, what the hell is
here's the thing. Here's my response to that. Okay, real quickly.
Let me get the vaccine.
Let me just.
He's like, you're stupid if you don't. And I'm like, wait a second, bro.
Benjamin Netanyahu could bomb every country in the world and I'll support it.
What are we doing?
Anyway,
let's reel it back. I love you.
That is the worst Ben Shapiro impression I have ever heard. Ken, thank you very much for the Canadian 5. Please, Vic, when you meet this ginger, please hold his feet to the fire. Don't let him pivot. Please cook his foot. I will cook this fool. I will cook this fool, and I will cook his foot. Thank you very much, Ken, for the Canadian 5er.
Ben, listen,
we got the new movie
coming. Your experience on January 6th, you're obviously very passionate about. Okay, I'm giving you my experience on COVID, right? And there's a reason why I'm saying this.
Which, by the way, he completely ignored, but we're supposed to listen to Brian.
Before the first vaccine came out, I almost died. I was in the ICU for 2 weeks. I got the vaccine after that, got COVID a couple more times. I had the sniffles, right? It saved my life. That's my personal, and story on it. But here's what I've been
so
very
happy for.
Museum, I read your super chat already. You missed it, but I read it. Look, it's already, I'm looking at it right now. I read it. Has anyone ever seen Mario and Brian in the same room? Yeah, the Mario thing. I already read it, Museum. I see your chats. I read it already.
Thank you. I've been very consistent on
this. It paralyzed Brandon.
The world wasn't ready for this, okay? I had a problem with the way Donald Trump handled it. Example, Herman Cain. Let's talk about him for a moment. I've interviewed Herman Cain. Was a really nice guy. So Donald Trump was holding these rallies when we were losing 2,000 to 3,000 people a day. He made, or his people in his group, made people sign waivers basically saying that if you got COVID, you can't sue us, right? Herman Cain is a guy who suffered through cancer and survived it. He wasn't wearing a mask, went to one of his rallies, got COVID, died a week or two later. I believe during that time that was very irresponsible. Now, I'm not saying everything was perfect. I'm not saying masks were, but here's last thing I'll say on this, and I'll land my plane here. I don't listen to idiots on CNN or Fox News that don't have any medical credentials at all telling me what I should do with my life when it comes to that.
No, hold on. Have medical. Hold on. A lot of them sent people off.
Okay. But guys. Okay. The problem is not Donald Trump making statements. It's Dr. Peter McCullough. It is Dr. Drew. It is Robert Malone.
Who's that African chick that was literally like
what's her name?
Ruined? Her career was ruined.
Medical doctors that came out, and guess what we've learned since then? They were correct. In fact, nature.com. So this is a nature.com article that caused a splash back in April. mRNA vaccine immunity is enhanced by hepatocyte detargeting and not dependent on dendritic cell expression. In layman's terms, there were a few questions that came out during COVID pertaining to the vaccine around myocarditis, pericarditis, immunity itself. One of the big areas of contention was that I think, the famous Rachel Maddow clip where she goes, what we know now is that if you get this thing, it stops with you. That's it.
Well, that was wrong.
Indeed, it was wrong. This is important because it evolved from the vaccine will stop it to it's 90% effective. It's 80% effective. When it turns out, actually, this
you need one booster. You need two boosters.
Study shows it was not effective at all.
Right.
What this study shows is a couple of things. The mRNA vaccine technology could not target. It's called addressing. So the idea is this. Initially, they were hopeful. Well, we got a lot to talk about. Let's go back in time. They've been researching mRNA technologies for decades. They've never been able to figure out what's called addressing. That is, if you're going to deliver RNA sequences through fatty lipid particles, you need them to target specific cells so that they work, but they don't know how to do it. That's why they've never actually rolled this technology out, and they've been working on it since the 80s. So what happens is, initially they say you get the vaccine in your arm, the vaccine stays in your arm, targets the muscles. The muscles will receive RNA, which programs them to produce spike protein. White blood cells will then attack those cells, destroy them, and create an immunity to the spike protein, which will then, when the coronavirus comes in your system, the white blood cells will see the spike proteins and attack them. The problem, they couldn't actually guarantee addressing of the mRNA vaccine. What happened? The vaccine would spread through the body. One big outcome, according to Stanford, was that it would target heart muscle cells. Right. And this would then cause heart muscle cells to produce spike protein, and then it would cause the body's immune system to attack heart cells, resulting in myocarditis and pericarditis. According to Stanford, the rate at which we now know men 30 and under received myo and pericarditis was 1 in 16,750. That is not a rare side effect. Yeah. Common side effects are called 1 in 300,000. That's common. So what is it when it's 1 in 16,000? So we were seeing a wave. Now, here's the scary thing. Myo and pericarditis are typically believed to shorten lifespan by about 7 years on average per person. Wow. So we saw massive amounts of this. I have family members personally affected by this. Now it gets scarier. Brian, this one's important for you with nature.com.
Brian's like, son of a. He's looking at his Trump talking points here. He's like, is there any talking points that I could pull up here after this? All right. I could maybe go with this one. That would be good. All right. But how would I pivot over to this? Look at Brian strategizing in real time. He's not even paying attention. He's not listening to a damn thing. Well, let's see. Well, if they ended up with the scientists, maybe I could bring up about how Trump wanted us to inject bleach or something. I don't know. How would I do that? Well, I'll see what Tim says, and then I'm pretty sure I could figure it out on the fly. Ken, thank you very much for the Canadian $5. It's officially the 4th where I am. Happy 4th of July to you guys. Cheers. Happy 4th to you too, Ken. Yeah, happy 250 America. And Lenny Boko, thank you very much for the $4.99. Brian literally said he thinks it's fine if a bar kicks out someone with the MAGA hat, then says, as long as he don't discriminate. Little Cal Treasure, yeah. Well, when I say discriminate, I mean against blacks and browns and the yellows. Lion Brian for the $4.99. I don't believe in telling people what to do. I don't believe in telling people what to do. My dad showed me to Howard Stern, and he never said, Brian, you can't have a radio show. You're no good. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. His dad should have told him what to do. Thank you very much, Lion Brian. But yeah, look at him. He's strategizing. Let's see. How can I? Do I have anything about? I didn't think they were going to talk about the COVID stuff. I thought we were just going to talk about January 6th. there has to be some kind of talking point that I could pivot to. Let's see. Oh, raw dogging Stormy Daniels. Well, that's not really health conscious, huh? Donald Trump, he didn't wear protection. He raw dogged her. So maybe I could say something like, well, if you're concerned about spreading diseases, then what do you think about the president of the United States raw dogging Stormy Daniels? Yeah, that's a good one. All right, cool. Got this, Brian.
What they found was if the mRNA vaccine traveled out of the muscle, which it did in most people because they could not address it properly, if it got into the liver, it did the inverse and made you more likely to get COVID multiple times. When the mRNA hit liver cells, it told the body to tolerate the spike protein. And thus, people kept getting COVID over and over again. Now, the crazy thing is, there was a conspiracy theory that people had, these people who were, these doctors who were called crazy whack jobs,
right,
that if you got the vaccine, you were more likely to get COVID. And they said, that's insane. Now, they made the argument first it was going to stop it. Then they said it was 90% effective, 80%.
Yeah.
There were doctors saying, no, if you get this, you're going to get COVID more. Right. And they said, now that's just crazy. It may not stop it perfectly for everybody, right, but they said it would reduce the severity of symptoms. We now know, nature.com, this is a huge, huge study that freaked everybody out. If the mRNA went into your liver, you are going to get COVID more forever.
Yeah, but that Stanford study, I believe that you are referring to, also said in that study that if you get COVID, you are 10 times more likely to get myocarditis. That is what they
100%. Now combine it with this. You are more likely to get COVID if it affects your liver cells. Which is more likely to cause myo and pericarditis.
So here's what I would say in general terms, right? And I think we all could agree on that.
When I wonder, because he says that a few times, in general terms. I wonder if that means it's because that's his way of saying something's wrong without condemning the Democrats, right? Let's see what he says here.
Every vaccine that you take has its risks, perhaps some more than others.
Completely agree. But we're talking about media and government lying to the American people.
Okay, that's the part, bro.
Well, again,
that's the big part. Like all the people that said, hey, I don't trust this thing. So many, from doctors to our own government, you can't even participate.
Can I just say something else? You guys, let's throw the science out the window. We're sitting here arguing hepatocyte detargeting. Like, what does it even mean? Let me just tell you a story. My wife and I went to Frederick, Maryland, to get some sushi.
Yeah.
Now, the crazy thing is, so COVID starts, we're in Jersey, and I you notice it a little bit, but I'm in the suburbs. So we have a backyard. I go outside. When I want to go to Walmart across the street, we go to Walmart across the street. There's weird lines, but for the most part, nothing's really going on. Mm-hmm. We end up moving out here. So, and this is like 2021, I think. It's crazy how long this went on. We go to get sushi. It is a very small sushi restaurant in Frederick. You walk up the side of the building, up a ramp. We walk in the front door. We're not wearing masks. And there is, we right when you walk in to the host stand, there is a table 3 feet next to us, and no one is wearing masks eating their food. And I walk up and I say, 2. And then he goes, okay. And he grabs menus and goes, you need to put your masks on. And I said, no, nobody's wearing masks. And they're like, no, you have to wear a mask. And I said, I'm sorry, I don't understand. Like, just us, or like genuinely confused? And he was like, you have to wear a mask. And I said, can I just sit right down in this chair next to me and not wear the mask? And then they were like, no, you have to put the mask on. And then I said, are you kidding me? And all of the staff went, no. And then I was like, we're leaving. How retarded was this country? Yeah. And there were, and this is the Democrat, this is the media. What is going on? Guys, there was no one wearing masks sitting down. Not a single person. And there was a chair next to me. I said, I will sit down right now. I don't want to put a mask on and take it off. What am I going to do? Go like that? That makes literally no sense.
That's the problem.
This was psychotic. Yeah. Psychotic.
And the fact that there is one side that doesn't seem to want to go, yeah, that was messed up. Like, we shouldn't have done that.
I mean, I could give you examples of the other side.
Of the other side, making you forced to wear masks. You said, you said something about spreading diseases. Well, what do you think about Donald Trump raw dogging Stormy Daniels a week before Barron Trump was born? What do you guys think about that, huh? Pix Paradox, thank you very much for the $9.99. Dr. Vic, PhD in Brishapology. Hey, well, there you go. At least I accomplished something. Thank you very much, Pix Paradox.
As well. You're saying it's one side.
Right across for
Are there
COVID?
chips in the vaccine? Did the government put chips? Did the government put chips in the vaccine?
Hold on. Wait.
On the other side of USC.
That's not an argument because nobody was mandating you not get the vaccine because they had chips.
Dude, I walked up to private business while I disagree with their behaviors.
Stop. This was unconstitutional mandate by executives in Frederick and Maryland. It was not a law. I'm sorry. It was not a law, and it wasn't a private business. The business didn't want to do this. They were forced to under duress by threat. And this is what you got to understand. This was executive mandate, not law. This was a governor saying, do it or else.
Right?
So here's my opinion on that. First of all,
I feel like he's scrambling. What is he gonna say now? First of all, I think we can all agree.
Is it just wrong? Before we get into it, is that just wrong?
I think it's wrong to attack people and businesses for
no. Is it wrong to
cautious?
No. Is it
wrong? Now he's like, I think it's wrong to attack businesses for being overcautious. Just get that bottle. Just ow.
I am not attacking the business. Hold on, wait. I am not.
I understand you're saying it's a law.
It's not a law.
It wasn't a law.
I am not attacking a business.
So who made the decision then?
The governor.
It put the weight on these.
The governor of Maryland mandates.
Yeah.
So this is what we saw. They said state of emergency mandate. I am not blaming the business because the police threatened them. I am blaming the fascistic government that said, do stupid things, you cow.
California would shut down businesses. They would sit there and fine businesses who didn't want to follow their COVID mandates and then tell them and then shut them down. And so then if they try to open up, they'll come back and
wait, hold on. Do you remember? Do you remember there was a restaurant in California?
Yeah, California would pod them down, if you will. Pod them down.
California.
Yes, the guy who's parked his truck in front of the.
No. There was a woman who had a restaurant. She made a video. She said, they told us we can't allow people inside. So we set up tents outside in our parking lot.
Homegirl.
And they said, you can't do that either. And then across the street, Hollywood Production had craft services tents for their staff.
Let me ask you both the question.
Insane.
Let me ask you about the question to try to figure out where we stand here, okay? Because I think we can go to extremes on both sides.
Centrist. Yeah, this registered independent over here, Brian Shapiro, he'll bitch and complain. How come you can't just condemn Trump? How come you can't say anything bad about him? But he can't say anything bad about the Democrats and be like, oh yeah, that was fucked up. I agree with you. Like he's supposedly this centrist, but he can't say one bad thing about what's going on here. Nope. It was all good what the Democrats did. Oh, you're bringing up things that the Democrats did that were bad. Well, let me pivot to how the Republicans also did bad things because I'm a centrist.
So hold on a second. Let me ask you about the question. So at the time when the peak of this, when I think we were losing somewhere around 4,000 to 5,000 people a day, that was the peak. Do you think that would have been an appropriate time to have 60,000 people in a stadium watching a football game, not wearing masks, nothing?
If they so choose.
If they chose,
okay. Well, I disagree with
It's a choice.
I disagree.
What was the death? What was the
yeah. Again, don't tell people what to do. Life is short. I mean, yeah, life is short. You know, life was short for these old people who couldn't see family members for like the last time because of the COVID restriction. Couldn't go to funerals. Yeah, life is short, Brian. Why are you trying to tell them what to do? You would think that you would be all for the government not telling people what to do.
Mortality rate for COVID.
Those who died in COVID.
No. In general, what is the mortality rate?
Yeah, so obviously these were usually older people, not younger people that were had comorbidities.
No. What was the mortality rate?
I don't know. I don't have the exact stat in front of me. I don't know.
It was twice that of the flu.
Yeah.
Wasn't that zero?
So
something
0.03.
It was 0.2 or 3.
I thought it was a lot more than that.
That's
and
initially we all did too.
That's right there. That's the perfect thing.
How many
thought
people,
it was a lot more?
How many?
That's what they were.
So how many people did we lose?
0.3.
So how many people do we lose from the flu every year on average?
Sorry, hold on. Wait, guys. Just to get the facts straight. For the I don't know what they call this. The age stratified, meaning.
Socrates for the $5. So Brian disagreed with the Summer of Love protest during COVID, right? Right? Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, that pissed me off. The summer of the riots after George Floyd. we were locked down, right? And then as soon as the riots happened, like the protest and people were going outside, I was like, oh, okay, cool. End of lockdowns, I guess, right? No, you still got to lock down. Huh? Why? What the fuck? Well, why are these people able, like, dude, that was so freaking black pilling. Like, it was just so like, dude, like, how come it's okay for these people to go out and protest and riot and all this shit, but everyone else has to lock down? Well, they're going outside for good reasons and they're masking up. Oh, but a MAGA rally, that's a super spreader event. Yeah, like what, COVID, all that, it just knows, well, I'm not going to infect these people because they're doing good stuff that I agree with as the disease. I too am political and have political opinions. COVID-19, and I am not going to infect these people because they're doing things that I agree with. But I do not like these mega mushroom gobblers over here, so I am going to spread and infect all of those mushrooms. So it's best if they just stay home. Yeah, it was just freaking retarded. Totally freaking retarded. Mouth breather for the 10. Brian is a victim of modern leftist debate behavior where you cannot concede anything because a concession can only be viewed as admitting defeat and not normal debate etiquette. That's actually a good point, Mouth breather. Thank you very much for the 10. Truth for All TV for the $4.99. And don't forget, they didn't count flu deaths that year for some reason. Yeah. And COVID was so deadly that they had to include deaths that weren't as a direct result of COVID as well. And hospitals were lying. Everybody had COVID that died so they can get paid more money. Yeah. I remember on average 5 patients dying every night during the pandemic. Horrible times. Brian, I overdosed on BBC in jail. Couldn't help my cuck self. That's hilarious. I overdosed on BBC in jail. Couldn't help my cuck self. John Wayne, thank you very much for the $2. Bryce Shep stupidities over 9,000. Yeah. And Shadow Fox for the 2. But conservatives, bottle smash. Shut up, Brian. Exactly.
If you are above a certain age or below a certain age, the mortality rate was between less than 0.01.
Right.
For people under 40, upwards of 0.1. For those that were over 70, it was between 5 and 20%.
Right.
So this was largely a virus of the elderly.
Well, that would be with the flu as well, and that would be in general with any sickness. If you're under the age of 40, you have a much better chance. By the way, the doctors told me, they said this to me when I was in the ICU. They said, Brian, if you weren't in your 30s, I think I was like somewhere around 40, late 30s. They told me, if you were in your 60s, you would not have made it. So I think that's rather obvious, right? Your immune system is going to be stronger.
Right.
So that doesn't surprise me at all. But this was let's just be clear here. This was a very deadly virus that millions
That's
of
not the point.
So
Brian,
just real quick,
Brian,
very important.
Was like,
by the way, it wasn't as deadly as the media made it out to be. Not enough to where we have to lock down. Yes, it was definitely something you should be careful of, but it wasn't something where we had to lock down, be forced to get jabs, to have to wear masks, keep 6-foot distance. It wasn't that I would keep up. Like the cases would be like the cases would be very high, but the deaths would be very low compared to the cases. It wasn't as deadly as they made it out to be. Kellen Miller, thank you very much for the $10. Does Bryce Shep claim he doesn't tell people what to do because he thinks it gives him some kind of moral superiority, or so he can wiggle out of arguments? Either way, he violates it constantly. Yeah, that's what's so ridiculous when he says that. Like, he does tell people what to do. Lenny Boko for the $5. You referenced chicken hunting in an earlier video. Fellow Juggalo, whoop whoop ninja. Yes, whoop whoop to you too, Lenny Boko. Who's going chicken hunting? We's going chicken hunting. So thank you very much, Lenny.
Like when anyone said opposite the narrative, you were cut out of polite society. That was the problem. That's it. I'm not saying that if you wanted to get shot up all day, dude, go ahead. If I go, you know what? I don't know if I trust this thing they just came out with last week and they hadn't isolated the virus.
Here's the point.
Should I still be able to go to the movie theater if I want to? Shouldn't Gavin Newsom not sit there and go, we're shutting you down? Shouldn't San Francisco not allow 74% of all?
How many more people you think would have died?
Never.
How many more people you think would have died if everything was open?
I don't know. Honestly, honestly,
if we could test that. You take Republican states. Like, what was it, South Dakota, that pretty much didn't have any lockdown rules, compared it to like California, which had stricter lockdown rules. very similar numbers. Like there was like little to no difference in casualties there. So yeah, there you go. Didn't really make a difference.
It probably been more like Sweden, where they did herd immunity and they let people be, and their death rate was completely plummeted.
We had one of the worst death rates. Correct me if I'm wrong, in the world per capita.
We kept people away from the sun. Vitamin D was a big fighter of this, and we told people to stay inside and cover your face and breathe into your own. It's not.
I've maintained.
That's insane.
I've maintained.
That's insane, is it not?
I've maintained the same opinion that I always have, which is this: infectious disease doctors, my personal physicians, while they're not always going to be right, I will certainly listen to those that have the medical experience than idiots in the media, people that have no medical experience at all. Doesn't mean they're always going to be right. Clearly, there were mistakes made. And by the way, if you want to go toward politically the mistakes that were made and people that were saying things or using COVID press conferences and using them as campaign rallies, I'd be happy to go into that with you as well, and Donald Trump's failings. But I will say this, there were a lot of mistakes made all over the world, including the United States. We were not ready for a global pandemic. A lot of mistakes were made. A lot of lives were lost. I think we all know somebody that died of COVID, and it's tragic. It's horrible.
I don't. We know people
I don't either.
in states. We saw the results and decided not to follow that. We saw what Sweden did, and they came out with papers.
Who was the person who left it up to the states?
Like, nah, it was Trump.
No, that's not true. That's not true. You're wrong. Thomas Jefferson.
TJ,
I'm not kidding.
Had a couple of fact checks.
The federal law doesn't have the ability to go in and tell a state how their executive is supposed to handle things like
Ian's fact checking.
The doctor that mentioned earlier, the African American.
John Wayne for the $5. As an introvert, COVID was the best thing to happen to me. Was on unemployment at the time. Yeah, for us introverts, it wasn't all bad. It wasn't all bad. Thank you very much. One thing that I missed was that movies, because the theaters were shut down, so movies would come out on the streaming service so I could watch it at home. I missed that. I don't know why they don't bring that back. I mean, yeah, you pay the way ticket prices are nowadays, it's probably cheaper just to pay the $20 and watch it at home. But yeah, I missed that. Thank you very much, John Wayne.
Physician that was banned across, Dr. Stella Emanuel.
Is that the demon sperm doctor?
I don't know.
Yes, I believe.
Is that the one who believed in demon sperm?
Yeah.
Very credible.
Hopefully.
Very credible.
The United States.
Oh yeah, see, that's the propaganda that they put out there to discredit her. I remember that woman came out, said, what she said, like possible treatments that you could use for COVID, and then they released the story. Oh, look at the wild and crazy things this woman believes in. Therefore, can we trust this woman? And then idiots like Brian Shapiro is like, yeah, what a stupid bitch. Oh yeah, I mean the stupid doctor that we can't trust because he believes in stupid things. What a dumb.
It's also did have the highest raw number of COVID deaths annually, upwards of 900,000.
Most of it was from
2 years into the pandemic.
Say that again, Ian.
The United States had the highest raw number of COVID deaths globally, surpassing 180,000 by 2020 of August and approaching 900,000 2 years into the pandemic. However, when adjusted for population, it was about equivalent to global deaths.
We had more than China.
Well, according to the numbers, China didn't really release this information properly.
Here's the question about that. How many, and I would love for you to check out, how many had to revise that number of deaths because they were targeting multiple
people
deaths?
with.
Yeah.
There was a famous case.
With that you died. You got in a motorcycle accident.
Exactly. A motorcycle accident in Illinois. This was publicly stated by their chief medical officer and the governor. They said, you need to understand that the listed COVID deaths are not from, but with. And they explicitly stated a man died in a motorcycle crash. He tested positive for COVID. That is a COVID death.
Well, if you want to talk about propaganda in the network that you've been on Fox News, Peter Navarro was just on Fox News the other day and just blatantly said, quote, Dr. Fauci created COVID. Now,
yeah, didn't that come out in Tulsi Gabbard?
But he did.
Yeah, but he did.
He's the one.
not from Tulsi. This was 3 years ago.
Yeah,
he intentionally created this virus.
You didn't know that?
Well, listen.
Hold on. This is not 3 years ago.
Yeah.
This is testified by people working in
NIH, is it? No.
Yeah, it might have been NIH outright.
Should he go to jail?
No, because okay. First of all,
has he been found guilty in a court of law? Well, yeah, he probably should go to jail, but he won't because, guess what? He got a pardon.
Fauci should go to jail for lying to Congress.
Yeah,
that's been stated. Newsweek reported that. years ago, this story was already confirmed.
Right.
The U.S. was providing funding to the Wuhan coronavirus laboratory, which ultimately resulted in the creation of COVID. There's a question of, did Fauci intentionally create what is called COVID-19 for the purpose of? No. They were doing gain of function. This is what we have definitively. They were doing gain of function research. It resulted in the creation of various coronaviruses. One of them was accidentally leaked from that lab, which becomes COVID-19. This was intentionally created. Now, the question is, did they make a bioweapon to kill people? Was there a big conspiracy? We're not anywhere there. We're not anywhere there. Where we are is Dr. Fauci oversaw NIH providing funding to EcoHealth and these other organizations,
Hey, good to see you,
which
Wick.
were then helping to fund when. So it's circuitous.
That is the language that is a little bit different than the language
When
that
Fauci-
Navarro used on Fox
Okay,
News.
listen,
here's
wait, real quick. When Fauci was asked, and this is what I really, really love. I love this because it's just semantic retardation. When he was asked by Rand Paul, did you fund gain of function research? Fauci goes, we did not fund gain of function research in Wuhan. What we did was we brought in viruses and gained them functions. I'm not kidding. Imagine this.
and gain some functions. Wow.
And literally watch his statement. That's why people saying he should go to jail. Imagine if someone said, if you ask me, Tim, is there a door to this studio? And I went, there's absolutely no door to the studio. Yeah. What this studio has is a porthole with a wooden obstacle and a hinge that prevents it from being moved without someone activating a mechanical device. That's what Fauci did. He said, we didn't fund gain of function research. What we did was we fund the isolation of viruses through various species and then have those viruses be gained functions by reproducing those viruses. And Rand Paul was like, you are literally describing gain of function research. In fact, he held up a piece of paper that said, here's you in your paperwork saying you are funding gain of function research in Wuhan. And Fauci's like,
I remember that.
No.
And then Rand Paul campaigned off of that and fundraised off of it. I do remember that.
And the DOJ can't do anything.
Man, it's like everything Tim Pool, he just doesn't hear, and he somehow makes it about right winger bad or Republican bad. That's all he knows how to do, or just Trump supporter bad.
Because Joe Biden pardoned that man for everything for 11 years.
So here's the point. All the deaths you're talking about, whether he meant to do it or not, who's responsible?
You think that he? Well, I'm asking you. You think he meant to
that's
do
not that's not the case.
Yes.
If he did, that's again. That's
let me.
Well, I wonder. He's like, well, do you think he meant to? I wonder what he would say if you would ask, oh, did Trump cause millions of deaths under COVID?
Clarify.
I would say,
what is the purpose of creating a Frankenstein virus? I am not suggesting Fauci was like, I'm going to release this and kill millions. I'm saying he was like, I'm going to make a virus that'll kill millions. Oh, it got leaked.
Right.
There's a difference between I want to kill people and I want to make a virus.
If you are responsible, if you create the thing and it kills millions, shouldn't we all call for that person to be held responsible?
Or lying to Congress about it?
Right. Isn't that just a rational position?
Depends on who the millions are, because the H-bomb, we didn't put those guys in jail.
That's
they just killed the right millions.
We're in war.
No, I like that.
Who won the war? You know,
they just the right millions.
I want to ask you a question.
Yeah, but that one was.
I knew we were going into this, obviously talking about Donald Trump, right? And we're talking about the coronavirus.
Yeah.
I believe that what he did when he was in office, I give him probably an F, maybe a D.
What would you have done different?
I wanted to pick your brain.
Well, I would have done better than Trump. 34 count felon. Shadow Fox for the 2. I know what to do with the rest of the bottle. Thank you very much, Shadow Fox.
On that, what would he have done? So I'll list a number of things and mistakes that he made. Now, I mentioned the rallies he held, which I thought was inappropriate, and they knew it was inappropriate because that's why they were having people sign waivers, because they didn't want to be sued, and people did die because of that. When I was watching his coronavirus press conferences, and I believe probably we all were, right? We were all locked up there. Most of those press conferences were not giving people advice or telling people the seriousness of the virus, most of which he was just and complaining about Joe Biden. It felt like a campaign rally at those press conferences.
Huh? Wasn't it a campaign year though? He was running against Biden later that year. Is that what he's talking about?
I saw.
Well, that's not what you saw.
When I saw those, he was like, "Hey,
Did you inject yourself with disinfectant?"
Like, no, because he didn't tell me to go.
What did he say?
He didn't tell me to go do that.
Ultra rays.
He was like,
remember?
Wait.
Oh, so now he said something about the ultra rays. He didn't say inject yourself with bleach. That's another propaganda by the left that retard Brian Shapiro falls for. I sure we're gonna have Raw Dog Stormy Daniels a week before Barrett was born. Yeah, I know, right? That's stupid, Brian.
Hold on. Oh,
New York.
no, I just can't do this, Brian. You really got to use Google before you say stuff like this.
What did he say?
There is a
Google
UV
it.
device that they put in your lungs that fries viruses and
And
bacteria.
then he used the term disinfectant.
And Trump is what I would describe as a sausage finger.
Yeah, disinfectant doesn't mean disinfectant, like, oh, bleach. It means it disinfects. It acts as a disinfectant, like it disinfects whatever they want to disinfect.
So when he said, when they said, what were they talking about? Hydrogen, the bleach. They said
the bleach.
bleaching surfaces will these things and UV rays. He's like, I wonder if there's some kind of like light or disinfectant maybe someone could
just
take internally or inject that would blast
Did you
it.
see Dr. Burks and the look she was giving when
He
when
did not
said
literally
that?
say you should go out there and inject it into
No, I
your
didn't say
body.
that. That was being facetious.
And-
but I
and-
remember.
and
But
they
I remember that press conference very, very
But
well.
here's the funny thing.
And then the next day, Tim,
I'm
what
not
did he
gonna-
say when he was asked about it?
I don't know. Listen,
No, I know. Hold on. You should Google it.
Okay.
The next day, he said he was just joking. Why would he say
because
that?
he's a sausage finger.
Well, yeah.
He was joking.
Okay, no. That's
Yeah, he was joking. I mean, Brian even just said, well, I was being facetious, but why was he being serious? And then why was he joking?
Very appropriate.
in the way-
very appropriate. No,
Yeah.
it wasn't. Nobody
Yeah,
was
it
laughing.
was. Because he was trying to keep things calm instead of get turned up like everybody
stop.
on the
Said he
left
was
was
joking
joking.
the
about.
next day.
Yes.
He said it because he's bad at PR. Okay, because what he should have said was because he asked I would call it a half stupid question. I don't think it's stupid to ask a question when someone's talking about UV light therapy
Can I respond?
and disinfectants.
Can I respond to that?
Let me finish this point.
Yeah.
It's not stupid to say, is there a way we can use that inside the body? And someone can say two things. One, there are technologies that are being tested for throat viruses and lungs where they will put UV light to kill on the surface. Donald Trump should have responded with, I was just asking a question. I don't know.
Okay, so here's the stupid part. First of all, if he wants to ask that question, you don't do it at the press conference. You do it in private with Dr. Burks. That's number one.
That's not who
Number
he is.
two,
That's silly. That's not who he is.
if this is what
that's silly.
when
Ask
he
your question.
knows he says something stupid, or maybe I shouldn't have said that. What does he do?
Sounds
I was
stupider.
just joking.
I agree. He sounds stupid.
To your point. Okay, to your point, he was just joking. You just said. There was not one person in that room that smiled, including Donald Trump. It wasn't meant as a joke. He said something stupid. Okay. Now, if we want to argue it wasn't stupid or
Who cares? That's the thing. You guys flip out over things they said. Yeah, who cares? Does Joe Biden, whenever he, with national health, when he would say something like that, did he come out and go, hey guys, I said something very dementia filled and I'm sorry, it was stupid. What about that? Like, but no president comes out and says, yeah, I said something stupid. No president does that. No president takes responsibility for something bad he did. No, none, not a single one. But when Donald Trump doesn't, Brian Shapiro loses a gasket. No, he needs to bow down to me and admit that he's a piece of trash. Thank you very much, Truth Revolt, for the $4.99. Brian probably thinks Don Dish soap has degreaser in it because the label says cuts grease. Exactly. Thank you very much, Truth Revolt. And thank you very much, Kumiya Bites, for the $4.99. With Brian's outfit, he looks like a domestic monitor lizard in this clip. He should be basking under a heat lamp and substrate eating a mealworms, dude. That should be in the next Crucible cartoon. Thank you very much, Kumiya Bites, for the $4.99. Yeah, the Tylenol overdoses. Oh, yeah. I know. Don't remind me. All Brian does is say stupid things, so he's toast, I guess. Yeah.
there was nothing wrong with him saying that. Okay, fine. That wasn't a joke. That was him lying.
He
Okay?
wasn't lying. He was literally, he was like pointing out
That
that
was
he
a
goes,
joke?
hey,
That-
isn't it
So he
this,
said-
this,
so,
and this?
okay, so let's
and you
go
know
with
why
that.
he came and said it was a joke?
Let's go with
because
that.
you know why he went and said it was a joke?
Let's go with
because Low T's came out and started
Okay.
crying that he even would mention anything. Instead of taking a moment and going, you know what? That can't
Okay.
be real.
No,
I'm
I
just
find
move
this
on from it,
interesting.
dude.
Hold on,
I'm
let's
just
go with
going to
that.
move on from
I
it
find
because
this interesting.
that's what he does.
Hold on,
He says
let me
crazy
just
stuff.
respond real
Have the
quick.
quotes,
Trump
by
was
the way.
right.
Can I
Trump was right.
Hey,
Trump was right.
Let me.
All right, Tim. No, you can't do. I'm arguing with this buffoon here, and then you cut in to tell me Trump is right. You're gonna make my brain explode here.
Respond.
Here you
real
go.
quickly.
NIH, I got it for you. Trump was right.
Let me.
So no, hold on. While you mock Trump, I will absolutely mock Trump for going, I was just joking. Shut up, Trump. No, you weren't. That being said, wow, I just pulled this up from 2021, where they literally did application of UV light in critically ill patients with severe acute respiratory syndrome, where they found that it did result in a reduction in respiratory SARS-CoV-2 viral burden. Wow. So Trump is mocked and made fun of, and then instead of being instead of just going, well, I'm not a doctor, I was asking a question, or even having the appropriate advisors to say, Mr. President, this therapy does exist. When it comes up, show them. It's 5 years later, and libs are being like, Trump's so dumb. They did it.
Okay, well, I'd love to see the study
on Raw dogging Stormy Daniels. Kellen Miller, for the two, he thinks Don has knives in it because cuts grease. Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much, Kellen.
On how COVID was cured from this, but going.
No, stop. Yeah. UV light destroys vira and bacteria.
Yes,
bro,
I understand that it wasn't a cure for COVID.
Like there's no overall understanding when it comes to.
So now he has to move the goalpost, but it's not a cure for COVID. It's not what the point was.
Trump or Trump supporters. It's like
endotracheal. This is wild.
You say he says this directly, and the way he said it, it's because he said it this way. There's no context.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
That's the stuff that's
let's guys. I want.
Yes, UVC light effectively COVID.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, I could go on and on.
This is why he said it like that. But here's the thing: he said it like that, and look at the response that he got.
I would love to
look at the response he got. Instead of going, "Is that?" Let me go look.
Well,
it was like, "You're crazy,"
and then
because that's what I thought. And I heard him go.
And then Trump, being Trump, instead of being like, actually, I was right about the whole thing, he goes, no, I was joking.
Well, he wasn't right about the whole thing.
Wavelengths between 200 and 280 nanometers damages the genetic material of the virus.
I mean, here's a proof.
Right.
What happened? Dangerous for humans.
What happened when he mentioned ivermectin and HCQ? What happened in the media when?
No, hold on. Let me pause. Let me start. Wait. I'm gonna start from the beginning.
Yeah.
TechCrunch ran a story that the French were investigating the use of hydroxychloroquine to treat the symptoms of COVID and reduce viral load.
Yeah.
Donald Trump, this is what I love. And I mean that ironically. Trump would see something in the news, then say it, and then the news would immediately invert their position on it.
Yes.
TechCrunch ran the story because we covered it. And they said, they're investigating the use of hydroxychloroquine. I went, wow. Then a day later, Trump goes, you hear about this thing they're doing in France with the hydroxychloroquine or whatever it's called? And then all of a sudden the media goes, Trump's an idiot telling you to put fish cleaner in your body.
Well, there were a few people that died doing that.
But that's not what he told.
But hold on.
That's the thing.
Indeed, there are many people who do dumb things. Did you know the story about the executive in Canada who ran full speed out of his window and fell to his death because he was trying to prove that his skyscraper window was bulletproof? So when you come to me and say somebody ate fish cleaner, I'm going to be like, yeah. And three women took a selfie in front of a train, and the train hit them too. Sure. Like
there are dumb people.
They're absolutely, what do we call these Darwin
Awards?
Yeah. There's a lot of people. Again, it goes back to Brian. Like all I think a lot of us want on the right is
a kiss and a pat on the head from Trump.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Finally, that's
well,
it.
I'll blow you a kiss.
All right. Well, thank you for coming.
Positive encouragement.
We got another.
Go to bed. You want to kiss you on the forehead.
It's like be fair.
All right.
That went down in COVID. There was clearly one side that couldn't say.
Let's move on from COVID.
Lose your whole.
Yeah, I was gonna say the story where it's like the person drank bleach. Yeah, I think the wife her husband. Like it wasn't like he did it. I forgot what it was, but it was like the wife did it. Pretty much, the wife was responsible.
I don't even know if it was
okay, guys.
side. It was just a way of speaking.
Let's move on.
I just want to touch on the low T statement real quickly.
Okay.
Hold on, I can't let this slide. You called me a low T, huh?
Let's move on from the COVID stuff. I want to talk about something modern because we were trying to get to it and the COVID thing happened. So, Dario.
Brian is insulted. You have disrespected me. You've put disrespect on my name.
Eliza Chevalier has
is that a drink? What is that?
She's the one who
sorry, I forgot. We mentioned her.
Next, the thumbnail, the YouTube title, Low T Brian Shapiro left gets in shouting match with base January 6er or something.
Indeed, she's a Dominican from Florida. She I believe this. She converted to Islam. She has complained that brown men are seduced or whatever by colonizer women. She is CUAD and NSJP have said they want to destroy America, bring violence to America. Should she be allowed to swear into Congress?
I think that should be disqualifying when you make a statement like that. Certainly, I wouldn't vote for somebody like that. I wouldn't want somebody representing me. Whether that should be put into law or not is another story. I'm not so, but my personal opinions. No, I don't think she should be allowed to serve. No, I don't.
Brian, so hold on. Tim, I completely agree with you, buddy.
So the question would be,
what do we do?
Shadow Fox for the 2. I resemble that remark, Brian, if justice exists. Exactly.
Should the Republicans in Congress refuse to swear her in?
I think so.
I do.
I think it's disqualifying.
Yeah, I think
when you make a statement like that.
It's disqualifying in a way. It's like, hey,
if you threaten the execution of 6 elected Democrats, I think that should be disqualified.
Who called for treason for military?
No, that's not what they did.
Yeah, that's exactly.
You know what was said in that video? What was said? What was said? What was said?
Hey, if there was a legal order, you cannot. Hey, make sure.
What they said was nobody should listen to Trump because he's dumb.
Yeah.
And everyone should wage rebellion against the United States.
So basically,
and then they all started
just like they the general, they go, so what's the illegal order? When they were supposed to,
unreal.
So actually, hold on.
This is stupid, Brian. Unreal. I can't believe you. Kellen Miller for the 2. I haven't been convicted of low T in a court of law. Yeah, thank you very much, Kellen.
Hold on, wait. Let's clarify a few points.
They're playing games of words like the left like to do, because I used to be on the left.
What did he say?
So I can understand that they like to play games.
All right, let's pause for a second. Let's pause, guys. Trump should not have said that these people deserve the death penalty. He should not have. He said it was sedition. Military sedition does carry upwards. So I didn't know this at first. When the story came out, I said the penalty for sedition is not death. The penalty for treason is death, and treason is providing aid and comfort to the enemy in a time of war. Sedition is trying to overthrow or destroy.
Why can't you just say what?
Hold on.
I don't understand that.
How? So
say yeah.
Can I just finish? Can I just finish? Because you're not going to like what's coming next.
Because here we go.
Military sedition. That is, if you have served or do serve. So I think it's what UCMJ. Mm-hmm. Sedition does carry the penalty of death because it is considered much more egregious if you are in a position of military. Now, what those 6 Democrats did is explicitly illegal, but not anywhere near warranting a death penalty. That is, it is explicitly codified that if you instruct members of the military or federal law enforcement to question their orders, that is a crime.
That's not specifically what they said. They didn't say question order.
It doesn't matter.
If you get an illegal order, don't abide by an illegal order. If it's an illegal order.
Brian, contract law and criminal law do not exist under this idea of textualism. They exist under intent. So if you go to someone and say, do you have the thing? And they go, I have the thing. Do you want to trade a pina colada for the thing? And you go, yes. And then you hand him a stack of money. They don't go, he bought meth, but he was buying pina coladas, so we can't arrest him.
Okay,
they say the language you use had an intent, and the intent will be interpreted by this court, and we will ask a jury to make the determination.
Okay, so
let me just finish. When the intention of those Democrats explicitly was built around, there were billboards put up all over the country telling people, and these were illegal too, saying, do not follow these orders explicitly. That is illegal. And there was a nonprofit doing it. When you have the media and everyone around saying, one, we call this the Tweedledee Tweedledum death threat. The first thing that happened was a bunch of Democrats came out and said, Trump's orders are illegal, explicitly. Then, after that was in the media cycle for a week, these Democrats came out and said, do not follow illegal orders. You cannot play a Tweedledee Tweedledum defense. It doesn't work. Mm-hmm. The point is, the question of the court is, what was the intent of these politicians? The intention was playing on the context that Trump's orders were illegal on billboards, on TV, on talk shows, was to tell ICE agents and Marines to defy their active orders. That's it. That's a crime. End of story.
Yeah, that's
now the death penalty is not correct.
Well, come on, man. Like, I feel like sometimes people act like they're not just like the reality of things. Like they're sitting there and they're going out and you see billboards around. People are always saying everything is orders that he's putting out are unconstitutional. It's illegal. It's legal. Then you see the video. It's like, don't you like hear the music? They're all trying to paint a certain picture, even if it's not true. Even if it's not true, it's like
That's Donald Trump's entire
how do we
life.
not see it go down this direction? Like, how do we not see that? How do we not see when you have billboards, then you have
Dude, this guy, dude, he is the most TDS filled person ever. Like, he really can't answer anything without going, yeah, but Trump. Seriously, you could be out eating with this guy, and it's like, man, the chefs didn't really do a good job cooking the steak. Yeah, but Trump. Yeah, Trump doesn't even know how to cook a steak. It's like, huh?
later on a video comes up.
You're
like,
literally describing Donald Trump's entire life.
Okay, fine. I'll grant you that. How do you not see this, bro? How do you not see when COVID, they were sitting there going, if you sit there and you go against the narrative, you're out of some polite society. How do you not see these things? When the music is going in this direction, and as soon as somebody questions it, you're like, wait a minute.
You want to talk about not being able.
Saying, how do we not do that?
You want to be able to talk about not being able to see things? You want to talk about Donald Trump? I would like to do that with you.
What I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
I'm talking ultimately to the people on the left and how they treated average people like myself in their career.
I got to stress.
We're going back.
Hold on, wait, stop. I gotta bring this up. I gotta bring this up because Brian, you is abject wrong. This is not what you signed up for.org. These billboards were all across the country, and this is
wrong about.
This is explicitly a crime.
Wow.
When you have so here's what they did. They had billboards that said a couple of things. One, they said only obey lawful orders, and that's all. And then a link. Others said, are you loyal to the Constitution or to ICE? Because this is over National Guard and Marines working with ICE.
Who put up those billboards?
Private NGOs and PACs.
Okay.
It resulted in this. Now, hold on. This is explicitly illegal. And by all means, I can say, where are they at with arrests? Instructing military members to use encrypted communications is a crime, 100%. Not penalty of death, but this is overtly illegal. Look at this. Be sure to access resources outside the military or government computer.
Why did they throw it out in court when Donald Trump tried to
This
go
wasn't
after
thrown
them
out in court.
legally? No,
No,
six Democrats specifically.
Because we are
about
in
the death stuff.
Because there are two countries there are two nations existing in the borders of this country, and there's something called venue selection. I think you would agree that if it goes before, if you have a proceeding in West Virginia, 86% Trump supporting, you are likely going to get a pro-Trump outcome. Do you know why Watson v. RNC, the lawsuit over mail-in votes, is happening in, I think it's Mississippi?
Mm-hmm.
Is it Mississippi?
I think so, yeah.
Do you know why it's happening there?
No.
This is a strategy put in place by Republicans to overturn California's laws.
Right.
But if you sue in California, you'll get California judges who will rule in their own favor and their own interests.
Yeah.
So you target the federal issue in a Republican state with Republican federal judges, so you guarantee you get the outcome that you want.
Right. Didn't they just sue the DOJ and the DOJ settle with them?
Who did?
Oh man.
So let me put it like this.
It was a group, they sued them.
So
and the DOJ was like, all right.
So
just gave.
Thank you very much, Shadow Fox, for the 2. He puts TDS in tedious. Why Tim have this fool? Yeah, exactly. But I do like how Tim fact checks him. Thank you very much, Shadow Fox.
Well, because that's what
Watson v. RNC probably already came down by the time people are watching this. It may not have. This could effectively end mail-in voting or in the broad sense. Likely, just you will not be able to count votes after Election Day, which would mean Republicans would not have lost the 2018 midterms. With this ruling in 2018, the Democrats ended up winning because 2 or 3 weeks after the election, late arriving ballots flipped it for the Democrats. Mm-hmm. If they rule in Watson v. RNC that you cannot do that, Democrats are not going to win this midterm. That's going to be nuts.
They're not going to win for a lot of.
My point ultimately is.
Oh, so what you're saying is, that this needs to be stopped.
Now I'm losing my train of thought. With this story, you have Democrats explicitly telling the military to question their orders. Again, saying obey lawful orders is on the line. The court is going to interpret this on the intent, not on those statements. To the point of venue selection, they go to Mississippi to file this claim against Republicans because what they would do in California is they would refuse to appeal. They would intentionally throw the case so that they can do one of two things. They can get favorable judges to defend them, but they don't want to go to the Supreme Court. So they might.
I'm going to fast forward by like maybe 10 minutes or so. I want to get to the screaming match part.
the point that I was making earlier. Let's just say for argument's sake, you're right. I don't agree. I actually do think it did happen. I'm telling you the truth. But let's just say for argument's sake, it didn't. And E. Jean Carroll's a liar. I look at the man's history.
So you wanted to go down the line
I look
of
at the womanizing. I look at raw dogging a porn
Now,
star,
let's pause real
paying her
quick.
off $130,000, cheating on every
And
woman he's ever been with, bragging about going into teenage girls' locker rooms pageant without their permission on the Howard Stern.
That doesn't make him a rapist, though. You could be a cheater and not be a rapist, Brian. You could raw dog Stormy Daniels and not be a rapist.
There's a reason why. Locker room. We can pull up the video.
Pageant. It was a room in a pageant that he ran.
It was a room in a pageant that he ran.
So you're allowed to go in there when they're half naked, and you're okay with that, and brag about it sexually on the Howard Stern show? You have kids, man.
You should actually pull up the clip because it's not how you put it together.
Brother, are we
laughing and joking about it?
Hold on.
You're going to ask the question.
Okay, guys.
Why would I vote?
Wait. Are we I think any point made about the Howard Stern show is instantly just disqualifying.
There were 3 women that were interviewed that said that that's exactly what happened.
Howard Stern's show,
and he walked in.
Okay, Howard Stern's show is intentionally meant to be lewd, lascivious, and antagonistic.
Gross.
And so people go on there and say the craziest things. I just say the Howard Stern show is
even before that, or even
like things done.
The women that were interviewed, were they disqualifying when they actually
on the Howard Stern show? Yep.
No, they were not on the Howard Stern show.
No. I'm not talking about.
Yeah, but those people couldn't have been paid to say that stuff.
Those interviews. That's
and I'm talking about that incident. If you want to throw away the Howard Stern show, that's one thing. But there are women that confirm that did happen.
That's fine.
Ryan.
The argument we're having right now is you mentioned that Trump went on the Howard Stern show and said things. Bro, Howard Stern, what did he do? Like launch hot dogs at women's?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean
it's meant to be insane.
But it doesn't mean that what people say is automatically untrue. They may be.
No, but it's not credible.
All right. What would you say about a guy who says he doesn't respect somebody because they were captured in John McCain? What'd you think about that statement?
What is he running down the freaking TDS talking points, greatest hits? Is he just running through what is it? A speed run of the bingo card?
You don't care.
Yeah, I thought that was.
Don't care.
Didn't care.
This
Why?
is a guy who was 5 years was a POW.
You know why?
He was tortured for 5 years, and you're telling me you don't care.
Can I tell you why? Because the things that I heard about what he was doing while he was tortured and how he had connections with the people.
He didn't want to leave his people behind.
What he had connections with running the camp and how he let other people go through worse situations.
The guy dodged the military 5 times, and you're okay with him on someone who was a POW?
No one.
I didn't say I was okay with it. I said I don't care.
No one cares. Well, I do. No, people do. There's a lot of people in the military that
can I tell you why I decided to vote for him over Kamala Harris or anyone else?
Does any of this stuff bother you at all?
Can I tell you? Can I tell you why?
I want to hear you, but
can I tell you why?
I know, but I just
because Trump is not my God. Trump is a part of policies. The left has killed more people that look like me in the womb than World War II. Hold on. Then in the womb, his policies of pro-life actually helps. His policy, babies dying. Oh my God, 13% of the population actually sick, doing 40% of the babies, bro. That's a big deal to me. The fact that I'm a Christian with kids and want my religions to be out there. That's why. So it's not just about Donald Trump, because I don't worship a man. We don't worship men. On the left, they worship Obama. They worship Biden, and then they tried to worship Kamala, but it wouldn't carry.
Let me respond.
Wait. You put up your whole thing. I'm going to tell you why over and over and over. I want less government in my life. Our biggest reason is because I lived for 4 years under Biden. Sid took my that was in my house without charging me. I couldn't fly, even to come on his show twice. I couldn't fly without people following me. That's why I didn't vote for them, even though you can go down the list of how Trump is this. They were coming after me. They were babies. They were promoting death in a community that needs help. They're not sitting there having the dumbest people in their public schools because they've been sitting there lying to them about everything's racist. And now everybody in California, in Chicago, where I was from, in New York, all these people are dumb. We've lost generations of young men and young boys and young girls to this dumb thing. That's why I didn't vote for the left, and that's why I voted for Donald Trump.
I can raise my voice too, and I can.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, so
you do. Okay, this is passionate.
So let me respond.
And the fact that this guy, he's not my master. He's not my God. So it doesn't matter. It's working out. It's great.
May I respond?
Please go ahead.
Boom. Torched. Eviscerated. Low T Brian Shapiro gets eviscerated by incredibly based black guy. Well done, Siaka.
Half the time that you just spurged out.
Go ahead. For the minute and a half.
Whoa. Spurg is a slur, bro.
Hold on a second. So first of all, let me start by saying this. Okay, you're anti-abortion. Okay, I don't call it pro-life. I call it anti-abortion. But if we're going to
It's
talk
pro-life because they're killing life, bro. They're killing life.
5 seconds.
They're killing life.
Can
I don't play about that
Let
shit.
me finish.
I don't play about
All
that.
right.
I lost a son myself.
Well, guess what?
So you know what?
Talk now.
Go
Guess
ahead.
what
Go
I
ahead.
don't play about?
Go ahead. Go
Taking health care away from millions of Americans. Taking food.
How are you taking it away?
For 5 seconds.
How are you taking health care
Are you
away?
going to stop interrupting
How are
me,
you
dude?
taking it away?
Wait, just let him finish.
Every other word you're interrupting me, bro.
Right now, right.
Thank you very much, Shadow Fox, for the 2. Thrice more with feeling. Slay King, Slay King. Yep. JJ Mad for the big 20. I hate Brian. We all do. Eric Goss for the New Zealand Fiver. Wow, how racist of Brian talking to a black man like that. I know, right? Seriously. Thank you very much, Eric Goss.
Now, because I'm tired of waiting.
Okay, well, guess what? Stop talking and let me finish now. You can have your spur out again about talking about abortion. That's fine. I disagree with you. They take away food stamps from from millions of Americans. He takes away health care from Americans. It seems to me very interesting that after the baby is born, he's against maternity leave. After the baby is born, you're against all these government programs that can help poor people.
I don't want bigger government. I don't care about that. I don't want bigger government.
You've made it very clear.
Yeah, so I don't care about that. So your point doesn't matter. You voted for the left.
I'll take my hat off too.
You voted for the left.
I'll take my hat off.
Good. We're both bald, but we have different. The thing is, I don't care about those things because those.
I hope does Tim Pool take his beanie off? Come on, just circle it. And then Ian's just left out. Ian, the only one with the full head of long locks. Look at this. This is ridiculous. Shadow Fox for the 2. Politics when the Foo music hits. Well, there you go. Take it all in, guys. This is the thumbnail right here.
Those are bigger government. At the end of the day, everything you're talking about is putting people to rely on them. It doesn't matter.
Wait. Okay, hold on.
No, because he started
He's
with,
gotta finish.
how did you vote for this guy who I'm going to list? And I go, you know why? Because of these things.
Okay, brother.
You bring back up instances from the left. I'm like, I don't care about none of that.
He's got to be able to
But it
say.
doesn't matter from my point that I made based on you going, why'd you vote for him?
Dude, you got to let me finish. I've talked for like 10 seconds, dude. Okay. There are a lot of government programs out there for talking about policy that Donald Trump has taken away from Americans. The biggest tax breaks for the top 1%. If you care about poor people and people that are living paycheck to paycheck, look at where the economy is at right now. He promised that he would lower all our prices on day one. By the way, this is pro-life, right? No, he didn't.
On day one, it did.
Let me finish.
On day one, it did.
From the time that he took office, are you going to?
Okay. I've got something I'm trying to say, but I can't until he finishes.
Yeah, please, 30 seconds if you want to talk about the economy, okay? Based on almost every metric, from the time Donald Trump took office to right now, inflation was up 0.6%. It's 4.2%. It was 3% when he took office. He said he was going to end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. All I have to do is pick up the phone. There are still people dying. The war is still going on in Ukraine. He said he was going to be a peace president. He said he wasn't going to start a war. How the did that work out? Look at this mess in Iran right now in the Strait of Hormuz. It's open, it's closed, it's open, it's closed. So I want consistency from you. I will respect your opinion when it comes to abortion. We can have a decent conversation about abortion and what I think maybe we can do to work together. But if you care so much about that topic, you should all care about innocent people that are dying. They don't have access to health care. They don't have access to food stamps and government programs that can help these people live. So I want you to have that same passion after the baby is born, not just before the baby is born, because you're a hypocrite.
No, here's the thing. I don't think.
You know, Siaka was being very genuine. I feel like Brian just started yelling because he felt like he had a match energy. It wasn't coming from a genuine place. It was coming from it was just my TDS talking points, but in yelling format. Joshua Bradley for the $2. Just when I thought he couldn't look worse. I know, right? Kellen Miller for the 2. How dare you talk to me like that, boy? Exactly. Eric Goss for the New Zealand 5. Brian must be so powerless since he can't plot anyone down. Yeah.
Think those things work. Why? Because I actually live in those communities, homie. I watched that shit tear people down for decades. So you want more programs, more government programs that have been destroying the black community? That's what you're sitting here screaming at me about when I've watched it not work. The healthcare doesn't work for them like that. Yes, it does, dude. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What the government run healthcare? Number one is inflated the price.
Take it away.
The
What are they supposed to do?
Who took it away? They didn't vote for the Obamacare. They didn't vote for it.
What's his health care plan?
Donald Trump did not take it away
What's
from
his
anyone.
health care plan?
Donald Trump did not take it away.
What is his replacement plan?
They didn't vote for it.
Can you tell me what his replacement plan is?
Ultimate replacement plan,
What is it?
he said it in his first debate back
Where is it? Where's the plan?
In 2016.
He hasn't presented it to anybody. Where's the plan?
What do you want me to do? Go and get it for him?
No, I want you to admit that the guy that you voted for is a moron.
He said it in the first debate back in 2016. Do you know what he said?
What did he say?
He said what we should do that the government doesn't want to do. It goes, we should put it on the open market and let the market
Where's
decide.
the plan?
That's all
Where
it is. But these guys won't vote for it because it puts money into the government's pocket.
You're wrong.
What are you talking about? It collects more taxes.
He hasn't presented a plan to the American people in 10 years.
Ian, what do we do?
He said in his first debate.
I'm having the time of my life, dude. I want to go another hour. We're not in a rush.
So you're talking.
Thank you very much, Justin Martins, for the 5. It's funny Brian thinks he's keeping up with them. Exactly.
About why don't he give him the health care? He had nothing to do with them voting here.
Okay,
the plan. The free market is the plan. You sit there, you go put them on more government programs. We literally have watched communities go to the because of these government programs. And you're screaming for more of it? Are you insane? The first big government program destroyed the black family, but you want more of that? You want them to sit there and go get soda?
Medicaid destroys the black family? What the are you talking about?
Are you listening?
Yeah, of course Brian doesn't know that. He doesn't know anything. He's a joke. Justice for Taekwon, by the way.
The first government program that they were given, which was called the welfare program, homie, that destroyed the black family. That's what we're seeing right now.
So by the way,
that's what we're seeing. And then you want to give these obese individuals who have lower education more crap
those
food,
are the people who voted for Donald Trump.
More crap food.
I agree.
The black community voted for Donald Trump at an 85%.
No,
85%, dude.
I understand
85%. And they're in the squalor. They're at the bottom of the barrel. But they decided to partner up with the left.
You're saying that healthcare destroys the black family?
Government-run healthcare does like the rest of the
where's
world.
The replacement plan? You haven't given me an answer.
I did. Oh my God. So did you not hear me say something?
Where can I find it? Hold on.
Wait. Hear me say
Where can I find his plan on the internet right now?
Siaka, you can't get too mad at him. He's a retard. Okay, he's retarded. You can't get that mad at him. He's really that stupid. Shadow Fox for 2. Settle as it should be. Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
Kind of want.
Where can I find
the clarity too? So you said
he has concepts of a plan.
You said that welfare destroyed the black family. Explain an example of what that means.
Yeah, man, they started to incentivize. I can't even get the word out. Incentivize the women to not have the men in the homes in order to receive money. And the more kids they had, the more money they were going to get without the man being in a home. The home is the first form of government. If you don't have the father, who is the leader, be there, now it's run by those who shouldn't be running the home on their own. Now, this is not the same thing as situations, the guy leaves, he dies, or anything like that. The government came in, and now the government has become the father. I know police officers in Chicago and LA, they get called by single moms all the time because the dad isn't there to rear their children. That has been a problem for 60 plus years. And all I hear you screaming and those on the left is more of the same, as if we're not looking and going, hold on. If we're not looking and going, you just said more government programs and food stamps.
Bro. I understand that these policies haven't worked for the black community. I understand that the black family has been destroyed. But when will you learn to shut up and do as you're told?
Welcome to my life, brother. Now, regarding the food stamp thing, you said he took people off food stamps. I've heard that they've made it so like Pepsi isn't on food stamps.
When we're wrapping up. Okay.
Unless you guys want to go for another 2 hours, because it's a Friday night. We party.
Friday night, dude. Let's play.
Let me just speak in general terms, okay? As we know, where the economy is at right now in most metrics, this is the point that I was trying to make. We are worse off now than we were a year and a half ago.
Yes,
we can talk about GDP growth. We could talk about the Dow Jones and the SP 500. We could. There's a lot of different metrics that we can go through. We can talk about inflation and in prices, as I mentioned.
I love that he has that laptop there with these like stats in front of him. Which, by the way, he barely cracked into. He stuck to the same TDS talking points.
And 4.2%.
Why did he
it was
even
3%.
I agree.
Hold on a second. But the point I'm trying to make is,
stick to the hits, Brian. He's trying to introduce new. Just stick to the hits.
And the GDP, which I had mentioned. The point I'm trying to make is we are worse off now economically than we were a year and a half ago. Now, Do I think it's great that when people are on welfare? No, I think most people would tell you they'd like to be working. What I don't want in a society, do you remember the delivery driver, the food delivery grandma who went to the White House? I don't want that grandmother to have to work 2 or 3 jobs. I don't want to live in a country where that woman has to work 2 or 3 jobs to try to save her husband's life, who's dying of cancer.
I don't either.
And the problem we have right now, yes, a lot of people are struggling.
I know.
I want people to have access to government programs, especially now, to help them. Hold on. Let me just land my plane here.
We would, no matter what, we would be paying for it, whether it be directly or indirectly, we would be paying for it.
Yeah,
so
it's just now you're forcing other people to pay for other people's health care.
I took my hat off. I can't believe I did that. So out of character. He got me to take my hat off.
Yeah.
Listen, the bottom line is when we get into a war, all of a sudden, $2 billion a day, we can just print money for a war.
Right.
Republicans have no problem printing money for a war, but yet we give the biggest tax breaks to the top 1%. And then the people that, as you said, are on the bottom of the barrel, I want those people to succeed. I would assume you do too. And yes, I don't want them to be on government programs their entire life. But when you have a diabetic that needs to get insulin, okay, Donald Trump signed an executive order. Joe
Shadow Fox for $2. Graph go down. Save the bottle, use bat. Yeah. Isn't one of the prompts for the 10v1 Trump is destroying, has destroyed the economy? Yep. So I got to remember this stuff.
Biden. Now I'm forgetting presidents. Biden allowed under Plan B and Plan D of your medical coverages, millions of Americans getting insulin capped at $35. Day one, Donald Trump signs an executive order, abolishes it. Okay. The problem I have is I want people in this country, in one of the richest countries in the world, to be able to afford healthcare. 49% of people right now that are working, 49% of people can't afford the healthcare that they are offered. And I think it's something around 36 or 37% of people that are working. These are not lazy people, aren't even offered healthcare. So the point I was trying to make to you is this. We've heard for 10 years, I'm going to have a plan in 2 weeks, in a month. We heard it in Donald Trump's first administration. By the way, Trump got us $8.2 trillion in debt his first go around. If you want Republicans, get debt. I don't.
Like the college system. Once government got involved, inflated the prices. And this goes back into the hand of government. So a lot of those politicians.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, so both right and left. Well, hold on. So both right and left. When this guy said on that debate stage, we just put it on the open market. The first thing I said in 2016 was they're going to try to kill him. And what have we seen since? I would argue with no evidence that both sides do not want government healthcare to move away from government because they've been making money off it.
Can I give you a quick retort to that?
That's where
Obama. You can disagree with Obamacare. There's a lot of Americans that don't like it. That's fine. Okay. It's
all right. Look, I've had enough of Bryce Shapp. All right. I've had enough. Siaka would have been perfect. He would have just grabbed that bottle and just thrown it right at his head. Just right at his head. Ah, what was that for? Where do you keep getting these bottles from? I've got the fatigue, but great job for Siaka. He's very, very based young man. Surprised we didn't get more racisms out of Bryce Shapp, huh? And Brian, of course, he's just the same as usual, but it's I just wish we would have gotten more of a spurg out from Brian than Siaka. What did you guys think about this, though? Sound off in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed.